And hello, and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. Matt kind of surprised me by starting the show because I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just go and share it around, but he was already giving me the countdown, so I'm like, oh shit, hold on. Matt,
I actually kind of went live just a little bit before with us because I've got the Stream Deck set up, so it doesn't allow that double window thing. So I have to have one. And when we were talking about goddamn Tucker Carlson's testicle tanning.
Yep. It's alliterative, you see, like Spectacular Spider-Man, Tucker Carlson's testicle tanning. Yeah, that's my fault. I threw you a curveball, and so Matt threw me a curveball right back. That's how we do on this show. But how have you been, Matt? How are things since last we spoke? Last week, of course, we did Retro Hero Video because it was the end of the month. Thank you, everyone, for checking that out. But we're back with a big show that's not just news heavy, but new release heavy too.
Yeah, my week's been pretty good. It's a weird week because it felt like this last week of April went like for so long.
I hear you. I totally
like days
hear you.
was just dragging along, and it felt like I wasn't doing anything either. But I did get a lot of stuff done, which was good. But yeah, apart from that, I've been getting into Warhammer.
Yes, I saw that on Twitter. You had all the stuff. It was a big toy-filled week for all of us. You got into Warhammer. I finally broke down and bought a Marvel Legends figure. Look how good it is. Yeah, I saw that. What? So what made you finally pull the trigger on Warhammer?
Just because I found it cheap.
That explains it. Yeah,
I ended up getting They apparently do 3 different tiers of they're like a starter kit. I got
D&D.
I got the mid-tier one, and I found it on this website for like a ridiculous price. It was like $70, and you get like 2 armies and like some buildings and stuff. And it was a really good deal. So I ended up.
I know it's an expensive hobby.
Oh fuck yeah! Holy shit yeah! Like some even the paints. The paints are really fucking expensive.
Yeah. Oh, the amount of effort and work people put into it is staggering and very impressive. And hey, speaking of money, B Black is helping us out. You and me with your new Warhammer obsession with the super chat. Curious, what were your guys' thoughts on Moon Knight Episode 5? It was triggering but impressive and well connected to the MCU pantheons and afterlives. I loved it. I thought it was the best episode they've done all season.
It was really fucking good, wasn't it?
It's the origin you wanted, and the fact that they made you wait for it, I think, made it all the more affecting. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like B Black said, they were not afraid to not shy away from some of the darker, more unpleasant aspects of Mark Spector's life.
Yeah, they went for it.
It feels like the sort of thing that you could really only do in a 6-part miniseries. It feels like you couldn't really do this in a movie, or if you did, it wouldn't have the same effect.
Yeah, it'd be all cut down. They'd do it for time. Wouldn't get all probably wouldn't get like the great performance from Oscar Isaac.
No, he fucking owns it in this one. Like this is totally like the Emmy for your consideration moment that he gives.
Yeah.
In a double performance. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. This show in general surprised me with acting. Like, goddamn, even Ethan Hawke is really good.
Yeah, he's really damn good in it.
Like, in anyone else, I think Harrow would be a very underwritten villain, but he kind of makes a meal of every scene, both in the, oh, look at me, I'm basically being Belloc from Indiana Jones, to now I'm the doctor, and I'm, like, actually trying to make you think I'm trying to help and everything. As the chat is saying, that episode was also filled with references. We got a reference to Bushman. We got a reference to Mark's brother.
Yep, Randall.
Yeah, we got so much stuff in that episode.
I'm looking forward as well, because obviously this week's the last episode.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing how they bring in Jake Lockley, because we've seen teasers of him, and I imagine that's what the season's going to end on, like the reveal that he's there.
Oh, I can totally see it right now. It's going to be Mark and Steve. Wow, we sure have come a long way. Yeah, we really do understand each other a lot more. And I think I can finally live with you in harmony. Hey, what's up, motherfuckers? It's me, Jake. What's going on?
I'm the more violent one.
Yeah, you got a third personality. You didn't know that. I'm a New York cab driver, but we've never been to New York. Wow, baby, we should go.
I have a mustache. I don't know how I end up having it whenever I take over, but I have it.
But I just do. Yeah, because that's totally like the season 2 stinger, where it's like, oh, these 2 split personalities have learned to work together. Oh, now they have another one.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. But yeah, that's that's the kind of week it's been, catching up on that, catching up on Young Justice. We both had a week filled with toys. I've been plodding along in Elden Ring still. I got my second great rune, and then I spent forever trying to find where the goddamn lift was. Here's the thing. Turns out I actually went the long and the stupid way that you don't have to take the grand lift. If you're willing to fight one of the magma worms, you can actually go that way.
Yeah, if you go up the weird spiraling like cave precipice thing that goes up the precipice or something. Yeah,
that's where I went originally, and I kept thinking I was going the wrong way. And then I came out on the Atlas Plateau, and I'm like, wait, no, but there's a whole thing on the map over there I haven't done yet. No, but what if I don't trigger the right quest? Right? God damn it, I gotta go back down and come up.
I actually just finished Elden Ring this week.
Oh, nice.
I didn't get the ending I wanted because the ending I wanted, I did all the quests for it and everything, and the ending is glitched. Like whenever I clicked the sign that I wanted to get ending, it had just like crashed my game. So I had to do like what I guess is like the standard ending.
Right, of course. So I'm amazed because, again, I've been playing the game for like hours and hours, and I hadn't even started any of like the big storyline ending things like this will affect your ending quest, because I hadn't found Ranny again. I hadn't, Fia hadn't offered me anything. So I'm like, well, what the hell is going on? It's only now did I actually find Ranny's rise and everything and start her storyline.
Yep, behind that castle filled with all the spider hands, the creepy spider hands.
Yes, you got to make your way through frickin' Carrion Manor and all the nightmare bullshit that's in there. Oh boy, it's a hell of a place. That fucking place and the goddamn ghost knights and everything else. Oh, and then you got to fight the big knight by the lake and everything, and they're throwing magic at you.
Yeah,
that was fun. Cowboy with a good question there. Hey, Joel, are you appearing at any conventions this year? I would really love to, Cowboy, but I'm getting a bunch of expensive dental work finally done that I've been putting off forever. So unless someone is willing to like fly me out and buy my hotel for me, probably not, because my wallet's going to be pretty decimated for the next couple months.
Just go and shill the new Sony film. They'll fly you out somewhere, you know?
Of course, yeah, no doubt. I mean, if it works for other people, it should work for me, too.
Exactly.
Honestly, I'm glad I'm finally getting it done. I'm sure I mentioned this before, but I actually went there, did all the tests, all the x-rays and everything, and they're like, okay, so that broken one definitely needs to come out, but we got these new medical fillings you might like to try if you're not feeling any pain. But also, hey, one of your eye teeth, turns out there's actually like an obstructed vein. So that one probably would have fallen out anyway, so we need to actually get in there and do something with that one right now. So that's a hell of a thing. That's what my week was looking like. I go back on the 16th to try and finish stuff out, but I'm finally getting shit done.
Nice.
On the upside, too, the dentist I got, he's a nice older guy who doesn't have social media, so I think I managed to talk him into knocking a couple bucks off there, because I'm like, hey, if you need a social media manager, I have at least 40,000 YouTube followers. And he seemed genuinely interested in that because he is older and his business doesn't have a Twitter or doesn't have any of the other stuff you normally have. So I may have talked a huge game about being way bigger than I am. So that's fun. Should we hop into the news this week, Matt? We got a whole lot to catch up on from both this week and last week.
We do, yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll start stuff off with some sad news, but some news we should probably cover all the same. Legendary comic creator, writer, and artist Neal Adams passes away this week at age 80.
Yeah, this is kind of a shock.
Yeah, this one is surprising to me because he just seemed like one of those immortal comic book guys. It seemed like he was never going to die. He was old my entire life and just, moved from project to project.
He was old my entire life, but he never looked it.
No, he didn't. He always had vim and vigor. He was always spry and with it. Even near the end, again, I saw him at a convention 5-6 years ago and I actually got to talk to him about Green Arrow for a bit, and he signed one of my prints. It's the famous one, the My Ward is a Junkie one there. And yeah, he was totally with it then. He always struck me as one of those guys who was going to live to 100.
Yeah.
Really, really did. Eric Santi helping us out in the chat yet again. Thank you, Eric. Hey guys, what would be a good realty show on Krakoa? Personally, I love the idea of Drag Race Krakoa and Real Housewives of Krakoa. Oh man, I mean Survivor. They're on an island. They just drive them out to the peninsula and be like, okay, you have to live here with powers or no powers, whatever's more interesting. That would be a good one. I mean, The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. I mean, how many, worthy bachelors and bachelorettes are there on the island and everyone's fucking?
That Real Housewives of Krakoa would be a great idea as well. If not just for, like, Emma Frost being a bitch to everyone.
Oh, God. Oh, she's perfect for it. Mystique
and Destiny.
Yeah, Mystique wine drunk at 8 a.m. every day. Look, I'm just saying, if she comes here, I'm going to snatch her fucking wig is all I'm saying. I've done it before. I have put motherfuckers in the ground. I'll do it again. I'm not afraid. Honey, please, you're scaring the children. I don't give a fuck. I used to be a villain, damn it. I used to mean something back in the day. That would be very funny. I like that a lot. But yeah, Neal Adams, that's sad. I mean, dude leaves behind a hell of a legacy, no doubt about it.
Not just in comics, but in the comics industry in general, because like he's the guy who was responsible for Siegel and Schuster getting credited for Superman and having that credit next to Superman's name, and so he did so much work for like artists allowing to sell their own art, like the original artwork, instead of it just being passed out as gifts and stuff.
Major advocate for creators' rights. I mean, we always talk about how bad it is right now. Like, it would have been so much worse were it not for him really getting out there and really crusading for it.
Yeah.
So that's a hell of a thing. And, still stayed right and stuff. I mean, I think he had, like, a DC thing, like, not even that long ago. That Ra's al Ghul book I think he drew.
Yeah.
Because, like, he was a writer and an artist, too. I feel like we don't get near as many of those anymore, guys who do both.
Not at all, no.
Yeah, the last of a dying breed, definitely a head that I would put on my comic book Mount Rushmore for sure. That's what I would do. So, yeah, R.A.P. Neal Adams there, will gone but never forgotten. Now, moving on from there, just some more things that ended up being gone, and I think this one surprised everyone, though honestly I had kind of been bracing for this for a bit. DC's Legends of Tomorrow and Batwoman both got the axe this week over at the CW.
Yeah, Legends kind of surprised me just because it was up to its 7th season, and usually on like the CW, when a show gets past like season 4, it's like just autonomy. It's just always there. It's never going to go away.
The supernatural effect.
Yeah, 15 seasons or something, yeah.
I mean, especially a show like Legends that kind of beat the odds where they greenlit it during this superhero boom. It stopped being a superhero show, then arguably got more popular.
Yeah, when they embraced the silliness of time travel and everything.
Yeah. But it just became a pure comedy. Batwoman, likewise, too, where it's like, okay, you know what? I'm actually surprised this made it 3 seasons, considering the main star you built the show around left after season 1.
Yeah, and not only that, but like all apparently the production problems that resulted in her leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised it lasted that long.
Also, too, there's all the stuff going on at the CW right now with them maybe changing ownership and, the bigger Warner Brothers Discovery acquisition and the ripple effects that's having. Usually when networks and powers that be have new bosses, they like to clean sweep everything so they can bring in their own shit.
Yeah, make a big ruckus to show they mean business or something. Yeah.
Plus the rumor, too, that Flash would be coming back, but it would be shortened. And I'm like, ooh, boy, if you're shortening your flagship show, what does that mean for everyone else?
Yeah. Well, it means Superman and Lois can become their flagship show.
I mean, hopefully, you got to wonder how sweeping are these changes going to be. You would hope Superman and Lois would be safe because it basically just started.
Well, not only that, the reception to it has been really great. It's got great production on it, and I know Discovery was like keen on having characters like Superman, like be the headliners as they should be,
as they definitely should be. Likewise, Naomi just started, so they'll probably get at least another season out of that. And Stargirl, have they announced if Stargirl's getting another season or not? I know they left last season.
I'm pretty sure they filmed it.
Yeah, I want to say they did too, because they left last season on a hell of a cliffhanger with Keith David as Mr. Bones and everything.
Yeah.
That certainly doesn't sound like a show you're going to cancel, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see, what becomes of the CW DC superhero shows, because it feels like they came out at a time, lasted longer than anyone ever assumed they would, but now there's a real, feeling of refresh and change going on in the greater Warner Brothers entertainment machine.
You also have to wonder as well, it's like when those shows started, they were the only ones. Now we have like streaming services. We've got fucking like Halo, Moon Knight.
Yeah.
All these other shows on streaming services that have bigger and better productions.
Yeah.
And they're successful.
Absolutely. Thank you for the subscription too, Pat Senior. I just saw you. Yeah, you gotta wonder there. Do they want to move all this to HBO Max now? Do they, think the CW is still viable? Do they want to move it closer? Yeah, I just don't know.
Well, I think even like HBO Max, I'm pretty sure that's changing now as well. Like it's combining with Discovery's. I think Discovery had their own streaming service or something.
Yes, they did.
And
they'll certainly did.
Most likely rename that. That's what, the third renaming of that
I know
streaming service?
HBO Discovery Plus.
Yeah. Tevia, just because you don't like these shows doesn't mean they're a failure. They're actually wildly successful.
Yes,
wildly successful.
Tevia is our guy who loves to speak in hyperbole. But yeah, I would not be shocked about that either, because, obviously we saw with Disney Plus, they acquired all the Fox stuff, so yeah, HBO Max needs to basically Borg up another one, because that's what they got bought by. Yeah, wow, from DC Universe to HBO Max to probably HBO Max Discovery.
Yeah, remember DC Universe?
Vaguely. Not really, no, because they never came out in Canada and Australia, did they?
Yeah, they never came. Yeah, it was all like always on HBO, which made me like questions like, why? Just put it on HBO.
I heard about it secondhand, is what I heard.
It lasted like a year, didn't it?
It did not last very long at all,
no.
But yeah, so we'll be sure to keep you posted on all this CW news there. It's sad to see Legends of Tomorrow go. That was the one I was still probably the most invested in. But at the same time, too, I think they had like a great run. Like no one can fault what they did.
Yeah, I think it was starting to like wane a little bit, where it's like, okay, it kind of doing the same thing over and over again. I was kind of looking forward to Booster Gold though.
Same.
Yeah. There's nothing to say he can't appear somewhere else. But,
absolutely.
But yeah, I was kind of looking forward to Booster Gold being part of that show now.
The idea too that the last scene we ever see on Legends is all of them going to time jail for all the time crimes.
It's kind of perfect. It's
honestly a very fitting finale. And how did the show end? Oh, well, all these dangerous lunatics got sent to jail.
And not only that, if they want to bring them back in something later on, there's like the perfect place that's like, oh, they're all in jail, so they're all in that one place. You don't have to worry about like continuity or anything.
Absolutely. I can see it now. I would totally have loved to have seen the Legends in time jail. It's just them like lifting weights, getting like crude tattoos and everything. Because that's totally what the next season would have been. It would have been a whole season of them trying to break out of time jail.
Yeah.
Eric helping us out once more. Thank you as always, Eric. Matt, have you felt a difference between season 1 and season 2 of Superman and Lois? I know some of the creatives behind the show, like Nadria Tucker from Krypton, weren't rehired for season 2. I didn't even know that.
I haven't noticed anything. If anything, the thing I've noticed is that it's gotten a bit more comic booky.
Very.
Like that first season was very reserved and like
Drama,
what it was doing with like comic books and stuff. Whereas this season we're going to fucking Bizarro World. We've got Metropolis Kid. We're getting all these really cool comic book stuff.
Man, how great was that Bizarro World episode?
So good, wasn't it?
There were fucking squares instead of circles, and everyone dresses like they've gone to a frickin' Panic at the Disco concert. I love Goth World.
Jared Way is president.
Well, no, Seinfeld is president, which is pretty funny, man. I am all about Goth World. Can we literally just have a spin-off that's just in Bizarro World? I'd happily watch it. I don't know how you'd make that show work, but I'd be down for it. It's great too because it's like, yeah, our bizarro Superman of this world. It's like he's a dick, but he's still like Superman. He's just Superman lacking all like the really admirable qualities because he's been like seduced by celebrity and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love that. I'm like, oh yeah, he's like evil, but not like all the way evil.
Yeah, he has a shoe line.
Yeah, he really does have a shoe line. He's much closer to Homelander than Superman in this world. God damn that whole episode. Freaking goth biker bar Lana, where I'm like, oh, hello. Who marries Thal, who's like a good dude in this world and who actually is able to help Superman. I love that because that's a great bit of writing to be like, ooh, if the Thal on this world could actually turn, that means the Thal on our world could turn too because they're both conflicted.
Yep.
Which makes me think, oh my god, are they going to actually do that? Is Superman going to have like an ally who's also a Kryptonian?
I mean, it could happen. I mean, he even managed to turn that general guy to his side.
Yeah,
there,
I was
great.
Not expecting Anderson to turn. I really was not.
No.
I thought he was going to be a shithead to the very end, but him having this journey and having this realization of being like, oh, this is why Superman had to lie to me to keep secrets because he has a family that he loved very much. Oh, what a human thing. He's not at all what I thought he was, and he's still trying to help me, even though I tried to kill him. What a fucking journey.
It's great. It's been great.
Yeah, that's solid TV writing is what that is.
Solid.
Absolutely. Now moving on to some writing that's not so solid. The Sonyverse, Matt. What was the acronym we came up with? SPUMP or something?
Spunk.
Spider-Man Pictures Universe, whatever the fuck it is. The Morbius verse. Call it what it is. Announced that don't worry, Morbius took a hit at the box office. We were massive laughing stocks there in the entertainment press for a couple months. Don't worry, we know how we're gonna turn this ship around though.
We do, yeah.
You see, the problem with Morbius is, we went too well known, Matt. We went too popular. We did what people thought we were going to do. You see, here at Sony, here at Spunk, we're smart. And what we got to start doing is we got to start making stars, man. We got to think outside the box. That's why what the people really want is an El Muerto movie.
Tell the people who El Muerto is.
He's a Mexican luchador and a villain who appeared in 2 issues of Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's it.
2. 2 fucking issues, but don't worry, we didn't just dig up some no-name character for no reason. Rapper turned wrestler turned, I guess, actor now. Bad Bunny is attached to the project.
Oh, we're getting everyone, like, the titans of the film industry.
Oh, the vapors I got over here now. Oh my god. So yeah, they basically picked a no-name character and put an actor, musician attached to it. It sounds like the worst idea ever because it is in fact the worst idea ever.
See, I read that it was the opposite, whereas Bad Bunny wanted to do a superhero film with Sony.
That makes more sense.
And they let him choose.
Right.
And out of all of the, I read somewhere he wanted a character that were like represented like the Latino community and Hispanic communities, and he chose this character. This out of all the characters, he chose this character.
Clearly because El Muerto is a Mexican wrestler, and we saw Bad Bunny at WrestleMania and, all these other WWE shows. Surprisingly, he can actually wrestle. Like, you wouldn't expect it, but he actually does pretty cool moves. But seriously, if you wanted to be a Hispanic character in the Spider-Man universe, why not fucking Black Tarantula?
Yeah, why not, like... Well, he didn't even need to be like a Hispanic character. He could have like taken a character and made them Hispanic, like what they did with Scorpion in the Ultimate Universe, and then in Homecoming.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many ways you could have gone with this.
Yeah, so many ways. But no, we've got to have this character. This is going to be the next big thing.
And, because Sony's not desperate at all at this point, we'll do whatever, just say that we're cool, just say that we're popular, we'll do whatever, you can hit us, it's fine.
Well, when this was announced, I said that I was wondering if maybe, like, Marvel Studios, because they've got obviously more Spider-Man movies coming out, I wonder if maybe they've got, like, dibs on the A-list Spider-Man villains, like your Vulture, your Scorpions, Doc Ock, all that sort of stuff, and
you
just
feel
leaves.
They have to.
And that was like in their contract, and it's left Sony with Morbius and Craven and all these people.
Amazing Zero says White Tiger. I think White Tiger might actually be tied up in the Daredevil class of characters, though I am unsure. Bland Man helping us out. Sony, you cowards, give me Crane Dad films starring C. Thomas Howell, the movie we all really want. Someone on Twitter brought that up the other day, like, oh, this scene is still so amazing, it gives me goosebumps. I'm like, it's fucking a stupid scene. We all made fun of it for years. Where the fuck were you?
So it's that revisionist history that now bad movies are good.
All bad movies
it's
are
the
great now.
It's the prequel syndrome.
Yes, because you grew up with them, all bad things are now officially good, which, you're right, is a hell of a thing, and also makes me feel very old, and also makes me think, oh my god, did my generation do that with, like, Power Rangers and Space Jam and the Page Master, and now we're reaping what we sowed? Oh no, things we liked were bad too. A. Carter helping us out. Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters. Here, El Muerto, behold, true believers, you've been spunked. Honestly, yes, that should be their new tagline now. Get ready this summer, you're gonna get spunked all over again. Hey, Mom and Dad, bring the kids.
Like, what I find really funny is that obviously in Morbius they had that scene where, like, Vulture inexplicably turns up and recruits him to what was no doubt be the Sinister Six. Is that going to happen with this character as well? Is Morbius going to approach him in the middle of a desert in scenes that were definitely shot together and not apart 6 months?
Well, they're going to have to make it an island. They're going to have to fly out to Jared Leto's cult island. It's the only way that he's going to film these scenes. They're going to have to do that thing where he's going to have to cover his mouth. Hey, El Muerte, we'd really like you to join the Sinister Six Project. Thanks. Bye. Like, again, it's like he showed up, Jared Leto, but he refused to say words, so they got to, like, ADR it.
It's like that time when Wesley Snipes wouldn't open his eyes. They had to, like, CGI a mouth.
Yes, that's exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So, Morbius was a massive failure. Venom inexplicably continues to make money, probably just for the fact that it's Venom.
Yeah, that got a third film announced as well.
I can, because they make money and people want to go see them. I think
But, like, how? Why do people want to go and see these films? They're terrible.
I feel like half see them earnestly and half see them ironically, and that's just enough to make them a success. I really, really do. Or people saw that last one in hopes that they would get some Tom Holland Spider-Man connection. And they did, but never forget they pulled the rug out from under you because it doesn't matter and it'll never matter.
It's Sony. It's that cheap tricks.
Like, I'm honestly surprised, in a nerd culture that gets upset and incensed over everything, there wasn't more incensedness over that.
I know, right?
Yeah, like, you would think they're like, oh, they lied to us. They took our money and promised us Spider-Man, and now they're not going to give it to us. I'm genuinely surprised in an era of nerd bellyaching we did not get that.
Especially when it was, like, a legit lie.
Yes, legitimately they lied to you with the post-credit scene in Venom.
Yeah, and then again in Morbius with that whole Vulture shit where it's like teased that he's in the actual film and there's a Spider-Man in the actual film, but there none of that. It
was a rug pull. It was a rug pull. They literally lied to you every step of the way. It's shocking. Genuinely kind of shocking. But yeah, so Morbius was a failure. Venom surprisingly makes money and is getting a third one. There's a Craven film in development. Do you think the Craven film is going to go the same way as Morbius, or do you think more people know who Craven is to give a shit?
I don't trust the general audience to know who Craven is. Just because, like, what else has he appeared in, like, the cartoon, and that's, like, it.
He's been in well, the thing with Craven, at least, is Craven is popular enough to have been in everything. He's been in just about every cartoon I can think of. He's been in all the games I can think of. He's going to be in that new game.
Yeah. I guess the thing is, it's more like he's popular when his story revolves around Spider-Man. This story isn't going to involve Spider-Man.
True.
Like, everyone knows that Craven story with, Craven's Last Hunt.
The one one you like, the best one. He can't do the best one.
Yeah.
Brandon saying to play devil's advocates, Guardians of the Galaxy and Eternals were not known by anyone who weren't veteran comic fans. Long as they're good stories, anything is possible. But they're not making good stories or good movies, so people don't have reason to have faith in these things.
And Guardians Eternals had like decades of books like to draw from.
On.
This character has 2 issues from like 2006. There's like, and there's nothing in that gives anything. You might as well just make an original character.
You might as well, which might be more popular. I don't know. I guess we'll see. The fact that they're just creating that one from the ground up means they can basically make it anything, and if they can just make it anything, maybe it'll be more popular. I don't know. Also, didn't they say there was a Madam Web movie they were working on too in there? Weren't they doing Silk for television, or am I going crazy?
Yeah, they were doing all that shit.
Everything Sony does feels designed to make me lose my mind.
It's you wonder how much cocaine they're fucking having on a daily basis to come up with all this shit.
Like are they just being stubborn and they want to wring as much money out of it as possible, or are they still tied to that deal that like Fox was, where it's like if you don't make a new one every 4 years, the rights go back?
I think it might be something like that, but it's also, I think they've realized as well, especially with Venom, maybe like Morbius has made them rethink this, but like
they can get lucky.
They can get lucky because they put the Marvel logo on the front, and people and like general audience won't, like, they'll just see them like out of the corner of their eye and be like, oh, Marvel.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they're just like, hey, we can get lucky. And maybe, too, we just won't shit the bed too bad before, Spider-Verse and Beyond Spider-Verse comes out and people want to see that.
Yep.
Which, I guess that's another piece of news, too. I didn't write it in here, but it's Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 and Part 2. Mm-hmm. Not anymore. It's Across the Spider-Verse, and the third one will be called Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, and that also got pushed back as well.
Yes.
Did it? Yeah.
Which I'm fine with that. Animation takes a long time, and I want it to look good. You show it to me when it's good and ready.
Yeah.
I'm more than okay with that. Also, too, hey, with a name like Beyond the Spider-Verse, do you think that's just, more interesting kind of like naming where it's like, well, we did Across, we have to do Beyond? Or do you think that's indicative of something they have planned for the third one? Do you think they are going to go beyond the Spider-Verse into something else?
One part of me wants to say it's Sony. They haven't thought that fucking far ahead.
Probably
they're just naming it just because, like you said, it like makes sense in the naming scheme of things. But then you have Chris Lord and Chris Miller and Phil Lord on the film, and I feel like they might have thought about it a little bit more.
Hey, weren't Lord and Miller at one point attached to like a Men in Black 21 Jump Street reboot crossover? Is that where Miles is going to go, to the 21 Jump Street Men in Black universe?
Beyond the multiverse ends like in live action with Miles turning up in like the Men in Black. Men in Black, 22 Jump Street. What other properties does Sony own?
Yeah, exactly. Are they going to tie it together to all the different Sony things?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the crazy pie in the sky thing. I think a more sane one is like, and for the third one, he goes to like the main MCU and hangs out with Tom Holland.
Yeah, if Sony actually did that and they did like, we're just going to tie it in with like all our Sony properties, I'd be like, you know what? Okay, fine. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, have your own Space Jam moment.
Yeah. What else do you own?
Yeah, let's look at that right now. What else does Sony own right now? Oh, Ghostbusters.
You know what they would do? And they do it as like a trick. They'd say, okay, Tom Holland is in this new film. Tom Holland is in it, but he's playing Nathan Drake.
Ooh, just to really fuck with you. They got Ghostbusters. They got James Bond. We could have Miles mess up with James Bond. The Angry Birds.
Oh, yes.
They technically have the Valiant universe, I think, because they made that Bloodshot movie and nothing else.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that was like another cinematic universe I think they tried. And why couldn't they just keep on with that? It'd be something a bit different.
I think the pandemic killed it because it came out like the same week as the pandemic started 3 years ago.
That's true, yeah.
So like there was probably like, again, I know Valiant because I know people who work there were super behind it and like super thought this was going to be the next big thing. But yeah, the pandemic really fucked them. And like the movie's not even that bad either. Bloodshot, it's all right.
I mean, it's a Bloodshot film.
Yeah, it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's basically every direct-to-DVD action movie you've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like late period Seagal,
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I guess they technically own Goosebumps, so there's something they could do. Chappie, they could cross on over with all those guys. District 9, that whole shared universe. The New Zealand verse, as we call it, or the South African verse, I suppose. Anything else they got there? Charlie's Angels. I think they still got Charlie's Angels. Oh, and the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh, yeah, we'll cross over with all of these films.
Yeah. Oh, technically Resident Evil, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they do, yeah.
Oh no, Miles goes to Star City and there's zombies.
Oh no.
Or Raccoon City, it's the stars. I'm thinking Green Arrow, my brain just auto-completed. So yeah, there's lots of places for them to go and beyond.
They should do that. They should totally do that.
Just to fuck with people, I agree. I absolutely agree. just make the movie one giant shitpost where Miles deals with other Sony properties.
Yeah, embrace like all like the Morbius memes and everything. We go to a universe where Morbius made $1 trillion, you know?
Oh, well, you go to Vampire Earth where Morbius succeeded and everyone is a vampire. Yeah, absolutely. That's totally where you go with it, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good. Or no, you know, it's Vampire Island because you like take pot shots at Jared Leto in it.
And he's too in character to realize that you're taking pot shots at him.
That you're making fun of him on a vampire island filled with his lady sex slaves. All right, we're sold now. Let's write up this treatment and send it to Lord Miller before the end of the show. And they're like, fucking brilliant, you know, throw out the genius tour de force we were working on. Let's make a giant cinematic shitpost instead. There you go. And hey, from Spider-Man news to another piece of Spider-Man news. Hey, man, we got to be really careful and quiet when we say this. Have you heard of the dark web?
Maybe.
Maybe you can either confirm
I bought my first slave off of there.
But tish. Hey, Jared Leto, get out of here, Jared Leto. You're not welcome here. You're banned from the comic multiverse for life. Well, apparently dark web isn't just a scary thing that exists off the beaten path of the internet, but apparently it is also the name of a brand new Spider-Man event that is seemingly starting on Free Comic Book Day.
Okay.
Again, very little is known about this, but given the font is the same color as Chasm, the character that Ben Reilly became, it looks like Dark Web might be a big crossover between Chasm, the new Zebwell Spider-Man book, and I'm probably going to guess the Miles Morales book, considering how this new Spider-Man from this week ended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm guessing... I mean, it kind of makes sense that they'd be going into a big event. I was kind of disappointed that they're going in so soon.
Yeah,
but it was kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, again, it's been a bit since we've had a big Spider-Man event. You know, it hasn't been that long since Sinister War.
Yeah. It's only been a couple of weeks, you know.
Yeah. Got to do it again. That's. I feel bad for Zeb Wells because that totally feels like something they spring on a new young writer who's just writing it for the first time and can't fight back. Where it's like, but I'd like to tell my story though. You're doing an event, but I just started. I really need to get the fans on my side and everything. We said you're doing a fucking event. We can call any of the other writers who were in the Beyond era to come and do it if you don't wanna.
Yeah.
But yeah, it might be interesting. Again, my theory, and again, I don't know if this is right or not, but in the Miles book, he was fighting a villain called the Assessor, who was like fucking with him and knew about the Ultimate Universe and just like the existence of alternate universes in general. Yep. I'm thinking that's what it's going to be about. Yeah,
because the last time I saw Miles in that Ben Reilly book, he thought the Assessor was behind that fucking weird tree guy. Him and Ben fought.
Oh yeah, and
he like went off to like go and investigate, and then I didn't hear anything about it.
So that's my theory, is what that one's going to be. We'll reintroduce Chasm, and we'll see where that one goes from there. That's fine, I guess. Crossover all the different Spider-Men. Why not?
Yeah.
We'll probably be getting a lot of that as the Spider-Verse movie looms closer.
Where's that? What was that other character Spider Smasher or something?
Oh, I was gonna say Spider-Geddon, but Spider-Geddon was an event. Yeah. Or Spider Slayer. No, Spider. Yeah, it might have been Spider Smasher. I think you're right.
Yeah, that other character that again could have also been Ben.
Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe we'll see them there.
Yeah.
Riv Wilson helping us out there. They could redo the Teen Titans gag about Batman movie spin-offs, etc., but in Across the Spider-Verse, it's a gag about trash Spider-Man universes. Yeah, I like that.
I can just see it. They got a lineup of all the people from the movies, and none of them are Spider-Man. There's Morbius, there's Craven, there's El Muerto.
We call this the Dark Spider-Verse. We don't go here.
Super Spy Aunt May. And
there you go. You're off the map now, son. Here there be monsters. Oh, thank God I'm back to the good Spider-Verse now, not that shitty one. Yeah, it's just an incredibly passive-aggressive movie where Lord and Miller shit on everyone else.
Yeah, and because the producers don't, understand any of it, they just get away with it.
Mm-hmm. Captain Kun helping us out. Dark web is just Peter using the new web formula that makes his webs look darker, and he just wants to make a big deal out of it and feel good about his life. I like that a lot, actually. Yeah. Hey guys, did I show you my new webs? Hey guys.
Hey, that tracks where Peter is at the moment.
It kind of does.
In his own head,
It is sad sack, shitty apartment. I like that. Hey Avengers, did you see it? Hey X-Men, did you see it?
Yeah. Hey, maybe he's going to go after the dark web. Him and Punisher team up to take down a child sex ring or something.
On the dark web. Peter Parker's like, so I discovered the Tor browser, and Frank, I thought I should call you. I thought you'd never ask, Peter.
Yeah, he's just going to leave the hand behind just to come and deal with this.
He shows up like the hand drops him off in like a minivan. Okay, me and Spider-Man are going to go killing people for the weekend.
Yeah, we're going to go kill some pedophiles.
Yeah, bye. Yeah, Peter sees the dark web and he's like, oh, I don't like this at all. This has made me change my entire way of doing things. Look, I'm going to call Frank right now. I think I got him on speed dial. You know what? Maybe you were right.
It gets that what if Spider-Man was Punisher costume where it's like,
yes,
it's like the arm and it's got guns on the hands and everything.
Yes, 100 times. Yes, let's do that. Now moving on from there to some old news from last week, but some big news too. The Thor Love and Thunder trailer dropped, and oh, what a trailer it was. I think it's already broken records. It's like the most viewed Marvel trailer already. Yeah,
there's some 200 million odd views or something, at least last I checked.
Hot damn, not too bad for Taika Waititi. He launches what a lot of people are calling the greatest gay show of all time, and Our Flags Mean Death. And now he gets to make all that big fat stacks of Marvel money.
Yeah, and this film looks great. Looks fantastic.
It does. Yeah, I think a lot of people really don't seem to get the tone they're going with here. This is Thor, who is lost and adrift now. He's not really a god. He doesn't really feel being a superhero. And it's him trying to find himself and find his thing. There's a great scene there where he's totally dressing like Star-Lord and trying to be a Guardian, and it's not working.
No, it doesn't suit him.
No, we see him wearing a trucker cap and doing CrossFit.
That was great. Trucker Thor.
I love that. I love that so much, and it's great too because I'm like, oh, are they ever so slightly taking the piss out of Ben Affleck when he did CrossFit in Batman v Superman for no reason? Only Thor's like, I can do it better. I'm doing CrossFit with the universe. We get to see, Broxton, Ohio there and what's become of New Asgard. Valkyrie is just like really bored with the day-to-day being a queen stuff.
Yeah, being King Valkyrie.
Mm-hmm. She can wear the fuck out of that suit, though, can't she?
Yeah.
And yet isn't happy. If I had a suit that nice, I'd be happier.
Yeah, but she's got to deal with politics and tours and everything. And
Can't I just hop on my flying horse and hit the problem? As always, too, the Marvel Cinematic Universe just knocks it out of the fucking park when it comes to song choices. Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine, which works on 3 levels. One, it's a song, about a girl, because obviously we're introducing Jane.
Yep.
One of the lyrics is the thunder and the rain. He's the god of thunder.
Yep.
And also it's, Thor getting a little, nostalgic for the past, when he knew himself and everything. And we get that great scene where he's, running in the tree line, and we see the classic 60s costume.
That was so cool. I expected Taika to do that sort of stuff. It looks so cool.
Love it when they do that. Eric Santee, Thor goes through a midlife crisis, the movie. Yeah, pretty much. And what is a midlife crisis for a god when you're basically immortal?
Yeah, at this point he's something like 1,500 years old or something.
Yeah, Kali Frederick, do you think we'll ever get a real MCU King Thor? I mean, if they keep making them, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, could be going that way, maybe.
I mean, they're setting up that Valkyrie doesn't really seem to be interested in being king of Asgard, so maybe this one ends with Thor being like, you know what, it is my family responsibility that I've been running away from. Maybe that's what I need to be, you know, not a god, not a hero, but a king. That could be an interesting place to. Maybe he feels comfortable doing that because it's like, yeah, well, Jane is Thor now, so the universe is as it should be. It's balanced.
Yeah, Jane is Thor. Valkyrie's there as like probably his like second in command, his like leader of the armies or something. You know, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun places they could take it. Korg looks to have a much bigger part in this because, well, yeah, of course, that's the character Taika Waititi plays. Yeah, he's not dumb. He's like, I get 2 paychecks now.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's like, where did Korg go after Endgame? Because, like, yeah, he wasn't with the Guardians or anything. He just kind of like buggered off. Though the planet they look like they're on, like, it kind of reminds me of Sakaar. So I wonder if maybe he went back there.
Loved that scene with them standing in front of the big dead god monster where it's like, ooh, that's straight up Assad Ribic art from the Jason Aaron years.
Literally, like, it's exactly like I compared like the rocks and like the blood, and it's all exactly the same.
Yeah, it's amazing. I freaking love when they do shit like that. Between that and Miss Marvel's poster being the cover for like issue 5.
Yep.
I love that these artists are getting all these amazing shout-outs. I hope they're also getting money for it too.
I hope so too.
Yeah, as we just talked about all the good work Neal Adams has done. A lot of that got a little fucky when it came to movies and who got paid what.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Ed Brubaker, I think he said, for writing Winter Soldier, you know what they gave me? $5,000 and a ticket to the opening. How much money did they make off merchandising Winter Soldier? About $1 billion.
Yeah.
I'd take that $5,000. I'd go to Vegas and be like, put it all on black. What I would do. That's why I don't control, big money and big budget films, because I'm just like betting on something stupid. But yeah, it looks super fun. We don't see Gore in the movie. Obviously, we're pretty sure we know what Gore looks like because some action figures kind of outed what he looks like.
Yeah, he looks pretty much like he does in the comic.
Yeah, a lot of people are mad about his nose because he has like a turned up pig nose in the comic. Honestly, I'm fine with him having a normal human nose. I just wish he had the head feelies. He seems to not have the head feelies. Is that because, the actor didn't want to put on a head cast every, day when they were filming?
Probably.
That's a shame because I think that's like one of the coolest things about Gore is that he's really not an over-designed villain. I think so many new comic villains are over-designed. He is very sleek and very streamlined. He's just a cloak, gray flesh, and head feelies.
Goes into his character about wanting to uncomplicate life.
Yes.
And like just get rid of all of these fucking gods and everything. Of course he would just be like just some guy.
Yeah, he's basically a space hobo, what he is.
Yeah.
It's a big, crazy alien space hobo. I wonder if we're going to get his whole origin in the movie, because his origin is very simple in the comics, and I wonder how they're going to choose to render that.
Maybe. I know in the toy and some of the art, he does have a Necro Sword.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so at least that's staying in.
Now, I wonder how they're going to square that circle, because in the commentary for Thor Ragnarok, Taika Waititi says that, Hela is actually using the all-black, the Necro Sword.
Maybe it's like a Thanos thing, where it's like it's one of them was a fake, the gauntlets, like the one Asgard had was a fake.
Maybe it's a holdover. Maybe it's like, and when you defeated Hela, the sword fell to my planet and fucked up everything for me.
Yeah, when Asgard exploded.
Yeah, kind of tie it all together, like, because that's just what you fucking gods do with your wars and your fighting. Your fucking garbage lands on our planet. I love Gore because he's like the universe's most militant atheist. That's really what he boils down to. He's the ultimate atheist.
Yeah.
I hate you all so much, I'm going to kill you all. Captain Coon helping us out again. Muscular Jane Foster shows up. Well, mark me down as scared and aroused. Pretty much.
Yes.
That's what that shot was all about, right? Like, boom, hammer. Oh, look, I got the broken one, but also look at my sick gains. Been only eating chicken for 2 years to prep for this.
Yeah, it looks good. We also got to see Zeus and Olympus and everything. Zeus played by Russell Crowe.
Cool.
I hope this also means we get Hercules.
Yes, that would be a great way to work Hercules in now that we have established that other pantheons do indeed exist. Most definitely. Also, interesting times for gods and pantheons, too, given what Moon Knight has showed us and everything.
Yeah, we got to see all the Egyptian gods. Now we're getting the Greek ones.
We technically already got the Wakandan gods, which was kind of interesting, too, because we see what the Egyptian afterlife looks here. We've seen what the Wakandan afterlife looks like. Isn't it kind of fun that the Marvel Universe has given us a world where all of these theologies and all of these religious practices are valid and can live together and don't step on each other's toes at all?
Yeah, they have, different looks for the afterlife. They're not all just, like a white void or anything.
It's very comic book, isn't it? Where it's like, hey, man, it all technically counts.
Yeah.
How about that? Now, what else do we got after that one? Oh, here's a really unexpected one, but one I was sure we would have some fun talking about. Frank Miller and Dan DiDio are set to launch a brand new comic company soon.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, crazy Uncle Frank and Dan DiDio, who, in fairness, has been very fucking quiet since his ousting at DC.
At Marvel, you mean?
Marvel, yes, yeah, he's been really quiet, hasn't he?
Which is really, really funny because he's still technically writing Marvel books.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's got the Reckoning War going on at the moment with Fantastic Four.
Oh, really? Is he involved in that too? I didn't know.
He's writing
I thought that was all.
Yeah.
I thought that was all Dan Slott.
Yeah, that's who we're talking about, aren't we?
Pardon? No, Dan DiDio.
Oh, you said Dan Slott at the beginning.
Oh, did I really? Yes, Dan Slott, who was ousted from the company. No, Dan DiDio.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck? What did I miss?
Boy, what a wonderfully fucked up conversation we have. No, Dan DiDio, former big wig editor at DC guy there, dude who hated Dick Grayson and the young character.
I got immediately really confused. I'm like, Dan Slott and Frank Miller working together? What? They're completely different writers.
Opposites, yeah, tell me about it. But yes, Dan DiDio, who got ousted from DC basically right at the beginning of the pandemic, and you and I were talking back then where it's like, well, love or hate his creative choices, dude is a major, lover of comics and a big booster of the comic industry. I'm sure another company will snatch him up at some point, but they never did.
No, well, maybe people offered him, but he wanted to make his own thing.
Maybe, yeah, because in the back of my head, I'm like, any day now we're gonna hear he went to Dark Horse or he went to Valiant something.
Yeah.
But no, actually, him and Frank Miller are working together to launch a brand new company. And oh shit, I had the name of it in front of me right here, but I can't quite remember. Obviously, the big question going into this is hey, Miller and DiDio, obviously they were big names. Are they still big names? Are they still going to be able to pack them in like they used to? Or is this kind of a pipe dream?
Yeah, well, I know, what was the last thing Frank Miller actually released?
That's Superman Year One, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I know that did pretty well.
Yeah, it did all right.
That did pretty well.
Okay, the company is called FMP, and the logo is just Frank Miller's Freddy Krueger hat that he wears.
Okay.
Oh, no. Frank Miller presents to be financed by DAO NFT investment. Oh, no. NFT pros are the money behind this.
Yeah, and they got the two guys that probably don't understand NFTs and
two of
probably
the
swindled
guys.
them.
Yeah, two of the oldest guys in the comic industry. Oh, no, yeah, this is gonna be a problem.
Oh, no. There was a book that released, I think last week or the week before, called The Secret War Secret
On
American
weed,
War on
yes.
weed. I was gonna pick it up, but then they started
Same.
doing NFT shit. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, Image, which, man, holy shit. I was going to buy that too because it was Jerry Duggan and Brian Posehn.
Yeah.
Two guys who I really like and two guys who are reteaming their team on Deadpool. They wrote that great Deadpool run that lasted for like years and years. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I'm going to review it on 420 because it's National Weed Day. This is going to be great. And, obviously, marijuana reform in the criminal justice code. Hey, it's legal now most places. Let's try and get out the people who are still serving stupid sentences for it is something that I feel very strongly about politically. And then Image started hawking NFTs, and I'm like, nope, full stop. Glad I didn't spend money on this.
Yeah, and it was an awful cover as well. Though it was those fucking chimp
those bored apes
fucking things. Yeah.
And they took a fucking beating in the comment section. Man.
Good.
People were so pissed at them, and apparently some people, Kurt, our mutual friend, fan of the show, Capes and Crooks, he did some digging in it. Apparently, the person who owns that crypto wallet attached to that cover is like an editor at Image.
Oh, of course.
So it went from bad to worse, 0 to 60 in like 10 seconds.
It's all right. I saved the JPEG, so I own it now. So
mission complete. Fuck yeah, but yeah, that was just bad all over the damn place. I'm like, wow, way to taint what was kind of a really cool idea in like seconds.
Yeah.
Also, too, hey, Bored Ape Yacht Club also had a bunch of their users. A couple, like a week later.
I just find it funny that like this whole thing that people are saying, oh, it's going to be the new form of finance, the next generation of finance, new technology. They always seem to fall for just like the most obvious scams because it was like one of those email phishing scams that they fell for.
Yep. Yeah, again, it's hard for me to think that this is going to be the future of finance and, Web3 and how money is going to be spent in the future. Really, because it seems like you're all just getting robbed over and over again.
Yeah, I have never heard of no one getting not robbed, owning an NFT or like Bitcoin or something like that.
You only ever hear of people getting robbed. And this is why it's totally stupid and why it's definitely a scam. The big difference is do you want to be the scammer or the scammy? People get in hoping to be the scammer, but more often than not end up the scammy.
Yeah.
So that's a hell of a thing. Bland Man helping us out. Didio v Slot, Dawn of Nerd Rage. I mean, they're going to be enraged when they find out what NFTs are. When someone eventually explains it to them. God, I would really love to be a fly on the wall. Hey, Frank, you hear about this NFT thing? Well, they got a lot of money, and they want us to make more comics, apparently. Okay, I'll do it. Because I have nothing else going on, apparently.
Yeah.
God damn, I mark my words, we'll be talking about this one again.
Absolutely, yeah.
when
it inevitably gets like embezzled, or Frank and Dio end up losing all their money or something to some Apple ID check phishing scam or something.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, this can only end in disaster, or even too, as grim as this sounds. If when Frank dies, because he's an old guy, I don't think he's ever been in great health because he's a hard-living guy.
Yeah.
I would not stake my new company to him, is all I am saying.
No.
Yeah, this guy will definitely help launch me to greater and greater heights. This old, sick man is the way of the future, Frank Miller. Also, too, as great as Frank Miller's old work is, and, as immortal as a bunch of the stuff he's written is, he's at the point in his career where he's written more bad stuff than good stuff now, like officially.
Like, I can really count on one hand, basically, all the good stuff he's done, and then, you compare it to, like, literally everything else.
If I were him, I would have probably thought about packing it in many years ago, and maybe he kind of has because he hasn't really written much in the last few years.
Yeah, he's been pretty safe in what he's writing, like Superman, and he did like some Batman stuff,
I mean, like, you could do the convention scene for the rest of your life and sign autographs for the rest of your life, basically.
Yeah.
Eric Santi, NFTs are the future of money and tech, yet having no understanding of tech or money and how they work. Or, ownership and the damage it does to the environment and, customer privacy and everything else.
As it is, it's just like a bunch of bros who think that they're smart in investing in like a picture of like a chimp.
Yes, in a culture that is incredibly insular and like incestuous and like self-filleting. Oh yeah, that's you're gonna go far there, ain't you?
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Oh, but we've got our own Discord servers and our own secret codes and practices. Yeah, that sounds like a cartel at worst and a consortium at best.
Yeah, and even with all of that stuff, you guys still get ripped off
all the time, all the fucking time. Now, our last story here is a kind of an unexpected one. John Watts announced this week that he's actually going to be stepping away from directorial duties for the Fantastic Four movie, the forthcoming Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, it was an amicable split.
Yeah.
He just wants like a break from superhero films for a little bit.
Which, yeah, I mean, he turned out a new Spider-Man film like every 2 years and still made Cherry and everything like that. Yeah, yep. I get it, man. I'd want a break too. You totally deserve it.
Yep.
And again, it's not like he left on bad terms. It's not like he'll never be back again. Yeah. They're already saying that they have Zendaya locked down for Spider-Man 4, whatever that becomes.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know, right? Did you not make a big deal about like doing away with her and having it being a bittersweet, goodbye?
Sony gonna Sony.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's too. It's like, yeah, but she's like one of the biggest, most recognizable, hottest stars in the world right now. Do you really fucking think we're gonna let her go?
Yeah.
Even if she just has a tiny ass role, do you really think we're gonna let her go?
Yeah, exactly.
Even if she's not MJ, even if we have her be like someone else completely, we want her here. If she's in the movie for one scene, we still want her because we can put her name on the poster.
Yeah.
Also, I guess her and Holland are technically still dating each other too, so I guess it makes sense to try and keep them both happy and not split them up.
Exactly.
For no matter what they end up doing. Maybe it's a series of flashbacks. Here's a bunch of stuff you never saw.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a way to get around it now without, compromising.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want them to do that, though. I'd want them to just move forward.
Same.
With what's happening, yeah.
Yeah, we might not get that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Again, the ending of that movie worked so amazingly well, despite all the other clear Sony meddlings. They still managed to make it work, and yeah, I wouldn't want to let that ending go either.
No.
Yeah, it's a strong ending.
Yeah. So who do you think they're going to get as director?
I don't know, man. That's a really good question. I mean, the early buzz is everyone seems to love what Raimi is doing.
Yeah, I could see him making I could see him coming back, as well as his comments saying that his favorite Marvel character is like the MCU Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people fucking hated that.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Because it validates the MCU Spider-Man. It's like, how can Raimi like this?
To which all I can think there is like, does Raimi know what he's doing? Does he know he's stirring the pot here? And a bunch of people just started frothing at the mouth.
Yeah. Oh, he probably absolutely fucking does know what he's doing. He's a trickster, that Sam Raimi.
He sure is. He's an impish sprite. Well, I just love the MCU Spider-Man. The people who are paying me right now. I love him so much.
Yeah, he'd be a good one. I want to say because of what I've seen from the leaks of Doctor Strange, they could get John Krasinski to direct.
Interesting.
Just because what I've seen him, I could spoil it, but I don't know.
I think I know where you're going, but let's leave it at that. Does he direct too, Krasinski? Yeah, I know he has.
Yeah. He did. He did the first Quiet Place.
Oh, yeah.
And he's done like a bunch of other different films as well.
Oh shit, he's pretty talented then, acting and directing.
Yeah.
I know people have been saying it forever, but it's like, hey, MCU, Disney. Do you think you're ever going to bury the hatchet with Edgar Wright? Think you could ever get him back for something?
I don't know.
Nah, it's a pie in the sky dream, but it's like, hey, Edgar, you love putting numbers everywhere, right? Well, do Fantastic Four, and you can put the number 4 in all the scenes you want.
They were on all the characters,
Yeah, and he's like, that really appeals to my OCD, so maybe I should.
That's what brings him back.
Yep, the ability to do that, where it's like, all right, I'll do it. But yeah, you're right, because obviously, they want Fantastic Four to be big, so they handed it off to the guy who made Spider-Man such a big deal. So yeah, that is interesting. Who could they give it off to?
Yeah, I don't know, like, if he'd be up for it, or like maybe he's too busy, or something. Maybe bring back like Jon Favreau.
That would be really fun, actually. Just something he could do in between things.
Yeah, in between Mandalorian and whatever else he's got going over at Star Wars.
Well, I was going to say there, I'm like, Mandalorian seems to be their test kitchen for amazing writers, directors, production designers. Who at the Mandalorian level hasn't directed a thing yet? Hey, Bryce Dallas Howard, do you want to direct Fantastic Four?
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be interesting. I'd be like, okay, good. What take does she have?
Yeah.
I think it should be an older person, though, because, Fantastic Four is kind of like this weird, old, sort of like throwback. They're the first family.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I'd want a director who's kind of like older to see what they can bring to it. Maybe someone who was like alive in the 60s when this stuff was made.
George Lucas.
George Lucas. We plucked this young up-and-comer out of obscurity, George Lucas. And we think he's going to be really great.
Yeah.
we think you're going to love him. We think he's really going places,
Yeah, he understands, if you can get this character working, then it'll
really work. Hey, what about Paul Thomas Anderson? You think he'd ever do a Marvel movie?
Hey, he fucking loves them.
He does. And again, hey, Licorice Pizza was a movie all about fucking nostalgia. So, look, just do that with the Fantastic Four. Make it all nostalgic and shit.
Can he bring that one producer that he had in Licorice Pizza that, like, fights on the streets?
Yes, the crazy one.
That Bradley Cooper played?
Yes, the insane one who's well that's John Peters, right? That's the giant spider guy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the Superman Lives guy, yeah.
Again, that's what we need. See, we need to bring this energy to Fantastic Four. You see, Reed Richards, he's a street fighter, you see, at heart is what he really is. He's a street guy who does hair and married Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. And, in Act 3, they need to fight a giant spider, the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and a polar bear.
Yeah. The funny thing is that, like, you could do that in Fantastic Four and it wouldn't be weird at all.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, they get up to shit all the time, man. We got another one here. Super chat there. Captain Kuhn helping us out. Cold take idea, get Peyton Reed for Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I could see him doing it. I know everyone hates the idea of him doing it, but I'd want him to do it.
Yeah, I know, right? It would almost be funny just for that.
I know, like, he really loves the Fantastic Four.
Yes,
he really fucking loves it, and he's done really great stuff on Mandalorian.
Absolutely, I agree. So maybe
he's the reason Luke Skywalker came back.
Oh, really? That's him. That was his idea.
He did that episode. Yeah, he did that first episode where Luke came back.
Oh shit, that's a really good episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they want to keep it in the family, and it looked like they wanted to keep it in the family with guys who had made them money before.
Yeah, maybe this is the first film Kevin Feige
directs himself. That's how Kevin Feige, is the right person to lead, because, he doesn't have any ego. He doesn't want to write or direct or anything.
No, he's just, I'll just produce this stuff.
That's the one. That's the one I really want to do. Eric Santi, I hope MCU doesn't go overboard to the whole multiverse thing, or I'm going to need Wanda to say no more variants. I mean, so far they've been pretty chill about it.
It's been pretty relaxed.
I mean, I guess we'll wait and see. I think that's always a fear in the back of our minds, where it's like, okay, the MCU works because it's so accessible to, like, hardcore fans and moms and dads and kids. Will there come a time when they get too in the weeds or get too up their own ass with mechanics and shit?
That's why I'm glad with what I'm hearing about Doctor Strange, where it's like there was that time where they had, like, the leak, and it was like literally every cameo ever, but apparently that's not it. There's like a total of like 5 cameos, and it's all like in the same scene.
Well, that's good then.
Yeah.
I'm certainly happy about that. But yeah, there's your Spider-Man news. There's honestly not much to report on that one. I'm sure we'll know in the next little bit who the next director is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure that film probably starts shooting next year, probably. So
you'd think so, yeah, because we saw the teaser what feels like 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm. It was a while ago.
I mean, I know we had a pandemic since then, and every day feels like 100 years now, but still.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll be interested to see where they go with it. I think everyone wants to know, how are they going to fit the Fantastic Four in, because they were the first family, they were the originals, and now they're coming into an already pre-established universe.
Well, I mean, you can always do the whole thing where it's like they were a family in like the 60s and they left for like their space trip, and it like fucked them up and they got sent to, I don't know, Quantum Realm or something.
Yeah.
Where they don't age, and it's, for them it's been like 10 years, where in the MCU it's been like, 30, 40 years.
Yeah. Again, yeah, you totally Planet of the Apes it. That's been my pitch for the longest time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, then I guess we can hop into what we read this week. And holy shit, was this a massive week. I had like 8 DC comics just on their own. I only read about 5 and tried to sprinkle some Marvel in for variety.
Yeah, I'm still going through some of these books.
This week was torturous. Like, this is the sort of week where I'm like, oh God, help me.
What's worse is that like all the books as well, they were like big books, like starts of events, or like the continuation of like big popular events and stuff. Yeah.
New writers, new number ones, big tie-ins. Yeah, like you couldn't ignore any of it.
Yeah, we got cocky with the last 2 weeks where it was like really kind of lax and everything.
Yeah, wasn't it so nice? We're just like, oh, this is so great. We can chill and relax, calm before the storm. Here, take it all, you fucking nerds. Gonna make you buy 8 DC comics this week. All right, I guess we should start with, the biggest one from this week. Well, one of the biggest ones. The biggest one from DC, at least. Justice League number 75. He did it, Matt. Joshua Williamson did what he said he was going to do. He done killed the whole Justice League.
He done killed the whole Justice League. Yeah, this is...
Killed him right dead.
This is the beginning of Dark Crisis, the continuation of the stories from Infinite Frontier and Justice League Incarnate.
Which a lot of people clearly, in my comment section at least, did not read Infinite Frontier and did not read Justice League Incarnate. I'm like, well, you missed out.
Yeah. Again, like, reading those books, you'll be very rewarded here.
Yeah,
very rewarded.
Again, like, some people were so confused, like, Pariah, MC2? What? I'm like, you should have been paying attention.
Yeah.
Or Multiverse 2, not MC2. That's a whole other thing. Yes, the MC2 came in here now and is also in the DC universe. You should have been paying attention. But yeah, it was huge, and they waste no time getting started, do they?
No, again, because, all the backstory's already been covered, so you can just jump straight into it.
Yep. The House of Heroes assembles the greatest leaguers from across the entire Earth, and Green Arrow, who is only there because he hitches a ride on Black Canary.
Because he hugs her, yep.
I'm not letting you go anywhere. I'm going to ride your coattails wherever it takes me, babe. Yet another reason why I love me some Green Arrow so much, a man after my own heart. No, you're not leaving me. So yeah, President Superman Calvin Ellis gets them up to speed on everything that's happening. I love everyone kind of like talking shop there and hanging out. Superman has a line that just warms my heart, where it's like, Captain Carrot, my old and dear friend. I'm like, yes, Superman is friends with a talking rabbit from an alternate. Yeah. They have had many adventures with one another, and this is just something as a comic fan that we just totally take for granted. Where it's like, well, yeah, of course Superman is fans with a talking rabbit named Captain Carrot. Duh.
Yeah, of course.
These are one of those things where I always imagine if I had to explain this to a non-comic reader, I'd sound insane.
Yeah, it's like, and then Superman, he talked with this guy called Captain Carrot, who's an anthropomorphic bunny, who's on his world as his Superman, and his world is like has cartoon physics, and
And then there's another president, and actually he's Superman and the president, and he might also kind of be Obama too. That kind of seemed to be the implication, but we're not sure anymore.
And then there's a cop, and he's a dinosaur, and he's called Dino Cop.
Yep, and he's a reference to a totally different universe. So you really got to know your comics to get that joke, because if you don't, you'll just be confused. But yeah, so they go to the planet. They're just like, well, we can't fuck around any longer. We got to go fight Pariah, and we got to stop the Great Darkness from coming on through into the bleed.
Yeah, so they end up going over to that place where like all of the universes that died in Crisis like die over and over again.
Yep.
And they find Pariah's there, and he's I guess kind of like the voice and the physical version of the Great Darkness at the moment.
Yeah.
Where
the speaker.
Where he's building a machine that's going to help bringing the great darkness. Yeah, he's always building machines.
Which I love that too. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are like, hey, we know you. You're that pariah guy from the original Crisis. Oh yeah, your Earth got destroyed first by the Anti-Monitor. You fucking suck.
Yeah, you fucking killed Barry Allen.
Yeah, we hate your guts. And I love that, like, recognition where it's like, yeah, that was back in the 80s, right?
yeah, because of Infinite Frontier, we remember that.
Yeah, because of that was like yesterday for us.
Yeah.
And we actually get, like, Pariah's motivation, because it's like, well, why is he trying to destroy the whole universe now? Basically, as his punishment for taking part in the original Crisis on Infinite Earths, he's been forced to basically live outside of time and see every Crisis and every DC restart over and over again for, like, the last 40 years.
Yeah, which is actually kind of funny, because that's what they did with the Pariah in the CW Crisis of Infinite Earths. His whole deal was he went from Earth to Earth to and be forced to watch them all be destroyed.
So basically, in a meta sense, his whole character motivation is that he's an older fan who's getting fed up with the universe is always getting rebooted every 8 to 10 years. So now he wants the Great Darkness to win just so he can chill out and there can be nothing.
Yep, there's also a quick catch up on, like, the Great Darkness and how it's neither good nor evil, and it's like a primordial force. That takes no sides or anything, but Pariah believes that with it they can finally have peace, because if the Great Darkness wins, there'd be nothing. So there would technically be peace, but there would be no, like, individuality or anything like that.
Yep, just a whole lot of nothing. And the Great Darkness has, made puppets of some of the other great Crisis villains, Darkseid and Doomsday and Ares and the Upside Down Man.
Yep, yeah, and we find out that they might be puppets, or like these versions that we see here might be like just manifestations of it that it can control, and the real ones are like trapped somewhere else.
Yeah, because they're not fighting like themselves, and also they're not monologuing.
No.
Got a lot of big monologuers here who suddenly shut up, like even Darkseid himself, who wants to talk, and even he has a moment like, "Oh, I think I know how to defeat the Great Darkness," and dead.
I like that moment because he comes back to his senses, and it's like, you can't win, it's all got to fucking die, and then he just gets taken back over again.
Yeah, I've been inside the Great Darkness. I've seen it.
Yeah.
And Pariah eventually ends up. Oh no! Even before that, it's Green Arrow who destroys Pariah's machine with the greatest shot ever, showing how useful he is, only to get crushed by Doomsday.
Yeah, he gets like his back broken or something. Something cracks. I know that.
Let us not forget now that when the time came when they killed the whole Justice League, Green Arrow got to die first, and he went out like a champ.
And he went out through Doomsday.
Sure did. People were like, "Oh, is Joel going to be okay with this? Because like Green Arrow's his favorite." And I'm like, "Yeah, I thought it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, he got to awesome.
He got to go out like a fucking boss." And also, Williamson is clearly a fan because he keeps bringing him back and making him big parts of stories. What's not to love? Yeah,
and then after that, Pariah decides enough is enough, and just very unceremoniously just kills everyone.
Yep,
and
the whole Trinity.
I love that it was done so unceremoniously, and it totally fits in with what Williamson's been doing with all these stories, where it's like, because all through Infinite Frontier and Justice League Incarnate, we've been following characters who aren't from Earth Zero, and who aren't which Earth Zero is usually the center of all of these crisis events. So for them to just die off like any other Earth is just so cool.
It is, and the art callback they did is amazing.
To the Flash, like, Crisis of Infinite Earths, yeah.
Yep, he just doesn't kill them, he totally unmakes them from, like, skeletons to atoms to where they've been wiped off the page completely.
Yeah, it's great.
That's great, too, because you remember it's like, oh, well, when that happened to Barry Allen, he stayed dead for, like 20 years?
A long while, yeah.
Yeah, he stayed dead for a really long time when that happened.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, is Williamson, because he is such a Flash fanboy, is he going to have that be like the callback later on where they all come out of the Speed Force?
Yeah, probably.
We were all hiding in the Speed Force. Barry taught us how to do it.
Yeah, we can now. Anyone can use the Speed Force because it's the Speed Force. We ain't got to explain shit.
He sat us down one day and said, "Look, hey guys, if you all end up getting unmade like I did in Infinite Crisis, you just gotta hide in the Speed Force for 20 years."
It was his contingency, yeah.
Yeah, he showed us how to do it. We hoped we would never have to do it, but now we did. Black Adam ends up surviving. The only one who survives, I think, because it's implied his magic lightning took him away.
Yeah, he ends up blasting because he finds out that he can't just punch Pryor because Pryor's a bit too strong for him. So he ends up just blasting him with his lightning, with his Shazam, and of course that works because that always works.
Yeah, always, without a doubt.
And yeah, he's blasted back to Earth.
Yep, sure is. To warn of the coming dark crisis and that everyone's got to get their shit together. Eric Santi helping us out in the chat again. Did someone curse the Green Arrow family? Connor, Roy, and Leanne are all back, but no reunion before Justice League 75. Also, John and Connor never got to come out to their dads before this. Yeah, I guess they didn't. Hey, maybe that's something Joshua Williamson will work up to, the Green Arrow reunion and that.
Yeah, well, I know Roy didn't want to go and see Oliver because it was in the again Infinite Frontier Secret Files where he came back and he was briefly the Black Lantern.
Then he wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, hey, he's running around now. He didn't get unmade, so maybe he'll come back into the story.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense. But yeah, Justice League 75, I had a lot of fun with it. It definitely lived up to the summer blockbuster tone it was trying to set.
Yeah, and we've got the 0 issue of Dark Crisis coming on Free Comic Book Day.
Oh, right. Yeah, hey, maybe I'll actually be able to get out to a store this year.
Yeah, funny that, because I was like looking up like, okay, so I got stores like over in the city. Anyone doing Free Comic Book Day? No. Okay, cool.
Really?
I'll have to see if someone scans the book online somewhere or something.
That's disappointing. No one is doing it. That's a kick at the dick.
I was hoping that they'd be offering as well, because sometimes in past I've been able to, like, when you buy an issue or like some books on their store, they'll like offer you like some of the Free Comic Book Day stuff just for free, and they'll send it with you. And they didn't do that this year.
Huh, that's weird. Well, I know in the past couple of years, because of COVID, they just offered the Free Comic Book Day issues for free online. So maybe they'll do the same this year.
I hope so. I want to read that goddamn Dark Crisis.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like it's going to be fucking important this year.
Yeah.
Sure does. But yeah, that was Dark Crisis. Pretty solid, I thought.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I guess from the biggest DC to the biggest Marvel title this week, Amazing Spider-Man #1 from Zeb Wells dropped, and it sounds like we both read it.
Mm-hmm, yep.
How about it?
I thought it was pretty good.
I enjoyed it too. You know, it definitely had some moments where it's like, I don't know about that. The big thing is, you know, we saw the big explosion that was all over the promotional material. Something happened to Spider-Man 6 months ago, and it has completely impacted his life, the life of his aunt, Mary Jane, and basically everyone else around him. But we don't know what that something is yet.
Yeah, and everyone like hates him or like isn't really happy with him, and Peter's still trying to like escape most of his responsibilities, which is something I really like that they carried over from the end of the Nick Spencer run into like the Beyond era, but we never really saw it in the Beyond era because Ben Reilly took over
for most of it. Yeah,
so it's good that they picked that up from here.
Yeah, they pick up a lot of stuff from the Spencer years. Randy basically shows up to say, hey, I'm here to deal with a bunch of hanging plot threads. You don't live with me anymore. I'm keeping your alien, in case you're wondering. I'm also going to marry Janice the Beetle.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to go see her father, Tombstone. You know, contact me just to make sure I'm not dead.
Yeah, hey, like we're fighting right now, but can you also make sure I don't get murdered?
Mm-hmm.
I like to where it's like, oh, you know, Peter, you left me hanging, holding the bag when we weren't roommates anymore and anything. I'm like, Randy, you know you had a third roommate, Fred Myers, who fucking died, right? I don't think you were going to make rent that month anyway. They don't mention that fact, that Fred was their other roommate and that he was murdered.
Yeah. We don't talk about Fred.
No, we don't talk about Fred. No, we don't. It's too painful. But yeah, so Peter's just kind of bumming around there. He doesn't have a job. or anything, because I guess he technically hasn't had a job for a while, because he didn't have one at the end of the Spencer run, and he was in a hospital bed for the entirety of the Beyond run, so he hasn't had a job for like 3 years.
Yeah, and then that comes back to bite him when there's the debt collector after him for the, hey, you stayed at the hospital, which means you owe us like billions of dollars, because it's America.
Man, I love the debt collector as Spider-Man's greatest new foe. Forget the Vulture and the Rhino, the debt collector.
Yeah, the man in the bowler hat.
Yes, who just hangs out outside his apartment to, like, harass him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, man, this guy's going to become a supervillain, I can tell. Going to get his money back one way or another.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got that. Tombstone is apparently fighting the Rose for control over New York, which is weird because they say, like, oh, Fisk is gone. There always needs to be a Fisk. Well, didn't Butch Fisk take over at the end of Devil's Reign, or are we going to find out in the next Daredevil book that didn't happen?
Yeah, or the Rose is Fisk this time.
Or, yeah, exactly. Or did Butch take up the mask? Did he kill Richard Fisk? And it's like, fuck you, I'm the Rose now?
Yeah.
That could be interesting, actually.
Yeah.
And hey, because John Romita Jr. is drawing the book, we bring back a 2000s Straczynski character that he drew, Digger, who's a radioactive mobster.
Yeah, and whose first words are he starts ranting about the green door.
Yeah, I love that. Again, Zeb Wells is very funny, and everyone else like, would you stop talking about the green door already? We're past that. We're done with it. Move on. So yeah, Randy actually does good with Tombstone, and it actually looks like maybe he will be allowed to marry Janice, because Tombstone talks about being actually content for the first time in his life.
Yeah, and then he knows at the end of the day, Janice is just going to do whatever the fuck she wants. He has no real say in it, so yeah, whatever.
Yeah, because she is a superior foe. Also, White Rabbit is working for Tombstone now as like his right-hand woman.
Muscle.
Yeah, apparently she's on loan from the Sinister Syndicate, and I'm like, that's a weird team up, but okay.
Yeah, well, he mentions like he owed like her father a favor or something, or like they were best friends.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll learn more about that, but also maybe White Rabbit is screwing him over because she's selling off a bunch of Green Goblin tech to Rose and his people.
Yep, behind Tombstone's back, and even then she's trying to like get one over on Rose as well.
Mm-hmm. Also, apparently Norman is like still normal because Peter talks about all the people he's let down, and Norman was one of them.
Yep.
Which I'm like, yeah, I guess that's a thing from Beyond they never dealt with. The Sins are still technically in Kafka, aren't they?
Yeah, and I guess it kind of makes sense considering what we've seen like coming up, where like Norman looks to be funding Spider-Man or something, or like helping him because he's got like that costume and he's got like weird pumpkin bomb things, and yeah.
I definitely want to see where they're going with that.
Yeah.
Imagine that, a Spider-Man funded by Osborn and like with tech by Osborn.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell a hell of a story there where it's like, yeah, you know, my son is dead. I need to try and redeem myself for all the wrongs I've done. Now I'm going to try and help Spider-Man.
Exactly, yeah.
There's a lot of places you could go there. The big reveal, though, the thing that was leaked out online and had fans lose their mind to the point that I am almost certain that Marvel leaked this themselves. Because it's just literally too perfect. Mary Jane is not with Peter anymore. They've seemingly broken up again. She's living with a guy and has 2 kids who call her mom.
Yeah, they were obviously... No, it's been 6 months. They are not her kids, her biological kids. They're obviously Paul's kids.
Yeah. Or, as some other fans who, you know, have read much more Spider-Man than me, apparently back in the day, MJ had a sister.
Okay.
Who never gets mentioned anymore, so those could very well be her kids she's looking after. Apparently she also had a younger cousin, too, that was also from, like, the Straczynski era.
Yeah, I could see that.
So maybe she's taking care of their kids, or what I think a lot of fans are afraid of, we're going to get some horrible sweeping retcon to be like, oh, well, Mary Jane actually had a secret family on the side.
Oh, I hope it's that one.
I mean, people will... bust gaskets. Nuts will be busted.
I hope so.
But obviously the idea being that Mary Jane is more happy and content now because this guy and this, you know, makeshift family is giving her everything that she can't have, because Peter seemingly can never move on. His life is forever starting over, almost at issue 1, forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a meta commentary there.
Yeah, absolutely. KT in the chat, I mentioned earlier this week, but if this was any other character, people would be more patient. Agreed.
Oh,
Batman and Spider-Man are two characters that people have the most amount of knee-jerk reactions over.
Oh, absolutely. And even then, like, what happened here, it's not bad. You know?
It's just different.
Yeah, and again, people want the same thing over and over again. They'll keep complaining they want something new, but then when something new happens...
And like, look, I get it if you're a newer fan and you haven't been through it like tens of times like me and Matt have, where it's like, oh, so they brought them together only to break them up again. I'm like, yeah, welcome to the last 10 years.
Yeah, this isn't the first time. And it won't be the last. Yeah.
And hey, if that bothers you or annoys you, that's perfectly valid. Just know that it is the way it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, just don't keep getting angry at it, because it's just going to keep happening, you know?
And also, they do it because they want to get a rise out of you, because they know it's something that fans really genuinely care about.
Yeah, you watch. This issue's going to be number one on the fucking board.
Well, here's the thing. If we're just judging even by channel views, more people watch this than they did Justice League Dark by like a couple thousand.
Oh, mine was the opposite.
Really? That's interesting.
Well, I guess it's probably because in the lead up to the Justice League one, I did all the big story reviews of and actually prepped for it and everything.
Yeah, I liked it. I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean, what worked about Zeb Wells' time on Spider-Man and Beyond works here too. Mm-hmm. He gets Peter's voice. He gets the humor, which is something I feel a lot of writers forget.
Yep.
And we got characters like Tombstone with more to do, so I'm all about that.
That's the thing I really liked. I said in my review, I like that it seems to be, because it's all just basically around a street level gang war that maybe Spider-Man caused. It's not, fucking, what was that character Nick Spencer created? Kindred. And, digging up shit from issues 40 years ago and all that shit. It's just Spider-Man beating up some fucking criminals.
It feels like a nice, return to form, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Also, a lot of younger fans don't like John Romita Jr.'s art. I can understand it's an acquired taste, but also, this is the best art he's done in a long time.
And I think it's probably because he had time. He was given the correct... Because I asked this, and I couldn't really get a concrete answer, but is this book going to be weekly or bi-weekly?
I'm assuming it's going to not be weekly anymore. I'm assuming it's going back to the old schedule.
I hope it does, because his art would then stay consistent. Because if it starts getting bi-weekly or something, you'll notice it drop in quality, because he's just having to pump it out.
And that'll be a problem for sure. Yeah, I mean, just any consistency for Spider-Man's art, please. Because Beyond, and especially the end of the Spencer years, where it's why does it take 5 artists to do this book?
Yeah.
I mean, shit, they sold the Spencer run on and we got Ryan Otley from Invincible. He did 2 volumes and then pieced the fuck out?
Yeah, what's his name? Guy who did Superman stuff. Not Jorge Jimenez, the other guy, the one who did the Tomasi run. He did some... Patrick Gleason. He did a couple. He did a couple and then just pieced out.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of piecing out during that run. I'm is it really that hard and that crushing to work on Spider-Man? I guess it is.
Yeah.
I guess it is that hard and that crushing. That's unfortunate. But yeah, Spider-Man, kind of a mixed bag, but definitely interesting enough to keep me coming back for more.
Definitely, yeah. And as long as it's not like the goddamn Beyond era where it's a new issue every week, I'll be fine with it, because you just got too fucking much.
Yeah. I mean, I read every single one, though I stopped reading the point whatevers.
Yeah.
I'll let you pick, Matt. What's the next one you want to talk about? I got 3 more that I actually read.
We had part 7 of the Warworld saga with Action Comics issue 1042.
Shit, I didn't read these. I read the 2 Shadow Wars that came up, but tell me about it all the same.
So this after last issue, which was kind of like an interlude with Midnighter, we're back to Superman's Revolution, and he's fighting him, and Midnighter and their people are fighting the Teacher. And they're fighting it, and again it's more great Superman stuff where the Teacher's why are you protecting these weakling people? These people make you weak, and obviously Superman's, no, they don't make me weak, they make me strong, and they're strong for being people that go against you, and for standing up for themselves. That's what makes people strong. And while he's fighting them and everything, we actually catch up on what Lois has been up to.
Oh, yes, I flipped through the book and I did see this.
Yeah, she's been looking after Fowler, who's back in the fortress in the stasis thing. And Kellex tells her that something's been happening to her, where like every now and then she has like seizures, and he believes it's related to the Genesis fragment, the Genesis energy, because she was powered by that, and he believes she's having withdrawal from it because she hasn't had any. And he theorizes that if exposing her to the Genesis fragment, it could subside and actually like heal her. But he doesn't know where the Genesis fragment is because Superman hid it away.
That's right, because the Atlanteans and the Americans were going to war over it before he left.
But Lois knows where he hid it, so she goes and meets with John Henry Irons.
Hey, how about that? He's doing good on TV, and now he's back in here.
Yeah, and he's been keeping an eye on the Genesis fragment and running tests over at Steelworks. And he has also been experiencing some weird stuff where, like, he's found out that the energy might be sentient because he's taken samples and removed them from each other, but they continue to react to one another without, and like they anticipate when he's going to like touch them and stuff like that. And
oh shit!
So he's trying to figure out what's going on there, and it's at this point over on Warworld, Superman actually manages to get one of the teacher's orphan boxes, because as Krillix says, if you get the orphan box, they could probably win the war because it allows him control over pretty much all of Warworld. Like, he can teleport anywhere, he can he's got control over like monsters and stuff like that.
It's like a mother box, but for Warworld.
Yeah, and so Superman actually manages to get it, and when he touches it, Lois and John Henry actually see and hear him. Through the Genesis fragment.
Huh.
Yeah. So and that's like where the issue ends off, where I guess they now have like maybe a portal to Warworld, or Superman has a way to get off of Warworld or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we know he does leave, because he at the in the start of Justice League 75, we see he's plucked from the orbit of Warworld after he's got like his costume and powers back.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder where that will go. The chat said, is sexy daddy Superman going to continue in Action Comics?
So.
And I'm like, for this run, I think so, definitely.
Conan Superman, yeah.
Oh yeah. Just Frank Frazetta, put him on a fucking van artwork Superman. But yeah, that sounds dope. That sounds like something I would enjoy. I've really been liking this Warworld saga, and I know people who have been reading it have been liking it too. And some people, like in the chat, are like, "Man, I should probably binge this, shouldn't I?"
It's pretty. Well, you should go over to my channel. You can actually catch up on the 2-hour video I put out that collected all of the issues leading up to it.
I mean, Warworld Saga is one of those things, is that when I think it's all done, it's going to be a really good collection.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like something you can really enjoy in a vacuum, even if you only know a little bit about Superman.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think. I'll go through these right quick, because I'll have to talk about both of them, and they're both incredibly thin. I got Deathstroke Inc. number 8 and Robin number 13, parts 3 and part 4 of Shadow War.
I had them too, and I'm glad you said they were thin, because they fucking were.
They sure were. Man, I can't remember the last time that I have been met face on with where it's like, oh, this event should not have been an event.
No, it should have just been a story, just in Deathstroke.
Yeah, you don't have near enough story here. Literally, for 4 issues, characters have been stumbling around with the exact same information and doing nothing with it.
Yeah.
Hey, I think Deathstroke killed Ra's al Ghul. He couldn't possibly have killed Ra's al Ghul. But let's all talk about it, even though we as the reader know that it's impossible.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it, even though we've been told that like all these assassins have been sent out to kill and not talk, and just kill everyone Deathstroke, but they're not doing that. They're just talking with Deathstroke.
Yeah, but Batman is weird in this story. Like, I think I can deal with this problem peaceably. Really, a war between supervillains and killer assassins you think you can solve peaceably, Batman? Okay.
Yeah, okay, Batman.
And even Deathstroke is weird in this one too. He's like, "Fuck you, Batman. I bet you'd only save me if I was a good guy and not a murderer and a canon pedophile." And he's like, "Yeah, probably."
You know what was really weird to me? It was in the Robin issue, where Batman, like, he sees Respawn, and it has like a double take where because Respawn's obviously like pretty much a clone of
Damien's
Damien.
clone.
Yeah. And so he has like a double take, and like he doesn't say anything, but like Slade's like, this is my son, not yours. I'm like, that's fucking weird, especially for a pedophile to say.
Yeah, this is my son. I'm gonna be like, obviously the whole story Joshua Williamson is trying to tell here is that in Respawn, Deathstroke sees a second chance to be a good father and make up for his failures with all of his other children. The irony being, no, but you keep failing your other... You've tried to kill Rose twice since the story started. What makes you think it'll be any different this time, Slade? You're just a bad person.
Yeah, and as well, that story is like one that sort of like is trying to pay off that whole Christopher Priest story, where like it was posited that like Robin might have been Slade's son.
Yeah, well, here now we have one who is.
Yeah.
What's even crazier about Respawn is I'm like, Deathstroke has like only known Respawn for like a couple weeks in universe, and he keeps just calling him Respawn. They never made any attempt to give him like a new like people name.
It's funny because I knew him as Respawn. I'm like, what is his actual name? So I went and like looked it up, and it's like, oh, it's unknown. Oh, okay. So they just haven't bothered.
Yeah, because Ra's al Ghul, Grumman of Bat, didn't care to give him a name, and Deathstroke equally does not care to give him a name.
Maybe they should really bring that up, or it's like, if you really cared for me as your son, you would give me a name, instead of just calling me the designation that Ra's gave me.
I mean, assumedly, that's what he got. I assumed Respawn was like a play on video game terms because he was in the Robin Death Tournament Island, and, you know, they could come back, he could respawn.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he was just fucking around as someone who didn't have a name, but now it's canon. Now everyone's calling him Respawn.
He's Mr. John Respawn.
John Respawn at your service. Does he take his dad's last name? Is he still Wilson? I'm Will Wilson, you know, because I got to be abbreviative because this is comic books. But yeah, this one is incredibly thin, and also apparently finding out that Damien has a clone is all Batman needs to think, oh, well, I guess we should team up now, huh, son? I guess we should put our differences aside. Okay.
Yeah, they don't even bother, like, bringing up the elephant in the room that, you know, Damien was pretty much responsible for Alfred's death. None of all that. Like, Batman even learns that he was in the death tournament, and he's just like, oh, okay.
Meh.
Okay.
Whatever. And also, like, Deathstroke guilt-tripping and a high-roading Batman apparently works, because he's like, yes, I need to defend the other supervillains in the, you know, secret society of supervillains. That's why I've sent Ghostmaker, Clown Hunter, and Batman Inc. to go and rescue them. I'm like, it's nice you did that, Batman, but, like, you totally didn't have to.
No, not at all.
Like they're supervillains. They know what they got into.
Yeah.
Like no one would think you were any less of a hero for doing that. Like, literally, they were going to kill each other one way or another.
Yeah.
Why do you feel weirdly responsible about this? This isn't your fault.
No.
Eric Santee, if Damien had an adult clone Heretic, then does Respawn have an adult clone too? Oh, fuck. Heretic was the villain of that terrible Adam Glass run by the end. They revealed that villain was actually Heretic.
Yeah.
So it's not even like Damien's first clone brother.
No.
God, we're going to have a fucking Ben Reilly Kane situation over here with the Damiens.
Now we need them all to fight.
Oh, that's going to be the next event from here. Yeah, you know, you and I normally really love Joshua Williamson's work, but I get the strong feeling where it's like, oh, did he find out around this time he was writing Justice League and Dark Crisis?
Doing Dark Crisis, and this one fell by the wayside.
And it's like, well, I don't want to give up Shadow War, but at the same time...
Well, he could have easily shortened it. Like, these two could have just been one issue.
They should have been. I can't believe these were two issues. Yeah. This is the most, like, protracted. Like, you didn't need any of this. The only big thing that happened was Damien found out that Respawn was a clone, and that's it.
That's like that's the end of, like, the Robin issue, yeah.
Yep. To his credit, I do like Respawn getting all in Damien's face, being like, you know, why the fuck do people love you? You've ruined every chance you've ever been given. You know, you keep talking about how hard done by you are by your parents and by your family, but they love you. At least you have people. I've had nobody my whole life.
Yeah. That was pretty good, and it was interesting as well to see that goddamn Ghostmaker came back.
Yeah.
I was for sure he was just going to be like like relegated to like nothing, the nothing void.
I'm shocked Batman Inc. came back as well, but then again, I guess Josh Williamson had to make their reappearance in his short Batman run make sense.
Yeah.
Also, again, for a big thing that's supposed to be a mystery, they have given us no clues to go on.
No, yeah, we're at part 5 now, and we don't even know who the Deathstroke
villain is of this piece.
Yeah,
we don't actually know who the bad guy is.
Is it going to be a clone of Slade?
It could be. I'm thinking it's that. It's going to be Lady Shiva. It's going to be Raish isn't actually dead. Some people said it might be Talia's sister.
Yeah, what, Nyssa?
Yeah, Nyssa. I'm like, he has a kid too. What happened to the albino guy?
Yeah, it's Jericho.
It's Jericho. It's Jericho, or it's Slade's wife. I mean, really, when you're dealing with dysfunctional families, it could be anybody.
So the only reason I actually also picked this up is because this somehow is going to tie into Dark Crisis.
Yes, because Slade is only doing what he's doing because of the Great Darkness, and also because Slade is clearly all over Dark Crisis, as we've seen with the art already.
He seems to be like one of the main villains.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess we'll see. How many parts is this?
At least a couple more.
Okay.
I think we get like 2 issues of each.
Okay.
So 2 Batmans, 2 Deathstrokes, 2 Robins,
Oof.
and we also had an Alpha, and I think we're gonna get an Omega too. So fuck me, it's gonna be actually kind of long by the end.
Fuck me.
Yeah, I hope the next ones are a little stronger than this.
Yeah.
Because pretty weak sauce so far.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you pick the next one then.
What did we have? We had Dark Knights of Steel issue 6.
Didn't get around to this one either. I literally, when I put my comics together this week, I'm like, okay, in-universe continuity, outside continuity's got to go to the back of the line.
There's probably an equal amount of them as well.
There was.
Yeah.
So how about the Dark Knights of Steel?
Yeah, so this is the midpoint of the series, and this issue was like the calm before the storm. This is like the issue that kind of like caught up a lot of the plots to where we are now. We see Tim Drake's Robin, who's in the Court of Storms with John Constantine, and John reveals that he knows all about Tim, knows that he's a Robin, and he's been feeding misinformation to Tim to give to Batman.
Ooh, fun.
Jennifer, what's his name? Jefferson Pierce's daughter, whose sister is now going to be Queen now that he's dead.
Fun.
Finds out as well, and tries to kill Tim, but she ends up stopping when John tells him, no, send him back to the court, let him tell him, let him do his job. So he ends up going back to the Court of Elves and telling them what's happening and how they're getting ready for war with the Kingdom of the Storms and Amazonia are combining forces to come after the House of El for what they did.
Yeah, shit's popping off.
He also reveals that he knows that Zala killed Jefferson and Jefferson's son Jacob, and
yes,
she vehemently denies it and didn't do it or anything. And yeah, the Queen Lara is left to decide, like, what is she going to do? Is she going to go to war, or are they going to try and sort this out diplomatically? And Waller, in clear Waller fashion, is like, hey, so Zala, she and Diana are a thing. If and Diana's like kind of on our side. So if we kill Hippolyta, Diana becomes queen of Amazonia. And if she became queen, we could maybe stop this. Maybe send an assassin out your way.
Maybe send a whole team of assassins made up of prisoners from our dungeon.
Yeah, maybe we'll put bombs in their head. I don't know how we'll do that, maybe magic or something, but yeah.
We'll figure it out.
A suicide squad, if you will,
If you will, yes. I'm not there yet, but I will be soon.
Hey, we have this whole jail full of, like, magical people,
Yeah.
Prince Cal, last issue, he killed Batman. He thinks Batman is dead, and he's like checking in on like the Bat family, like, hey, where's Alfred and all that, and they're out looking for Bruce because they think he's just gone missing. They don't realize what happened. And he ends up going to Amazonia and confronting the Amazonians and wanting to, like, he does like a very kind of Superman thing where he wants to end the war before it starts.
Right.
And Hippolyta and Lois aren't particularly interested in that. Hippolyta ends up stabbing him with like a magical sword to capture him.
Yikes.
And it's cool. Cal and Lois get a moment where Cal, he's like imprisoned with like the lasso of truth, so he can't lie or anything. And it's through that Lois learns that he is indeed there to try and end the war without it starting. And because he's like, hey, I could easily like kill you, like right now. I could easily kill you, but I'm not going to do that because I want this to end without any bloodshed.
I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy, but I'll kill my supposed brother because he threatens the throne, you know?
Hey, well, I'm a nice guy in the Game of Thrones averse. I only do one horrible thing, not a bunch of them.
But as we find out, it's a bit too late because Amazonia is already on the way to war.
Yikes.
And so, yeah, I guess the next couple of issues are just going to be all-out war. It was pretty cool, but I'm kind of wishing we kind of find out a bit more about, like, who the fuck, like, did Zala kill those people? Was it...
Yeah.
Is Martian Manhunter evil in this world and he's posing as it? What the fuck's going on with the Green Man, you know?
That's what the chat is saying, hey, we wouldn't be surprised if white and green Martians are somehow involved in this.
Yeah, like Martian Manhunter in this world is like an assassin or something.
Yeah,
like,
but, which again fits into Game of Thrones too, with the many-faced assassins.
Yeah, but like, where is the Green Man? Because we got that teaser, it's like, hey, it's Lex Luthor and he's got a Green Lantern ring, but he's also the Joker. Yeah, and like he assassinated Jor-El. He's the one who like helped Oliver Queen assassinate Jor-El. So like where is he? Why haven't we gotten his like side of the story? We got 6 issues left, you know.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and figure it out.
Yeah,
but yeah, sounds super cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy assassins, I had Punisher 2 this week from Jason Aaron.
I read this one as well.
Again, man, I love what they're creating here, this schlocky action movie ninja exploitation fest that they're doing here.
It's so good. I love as well, like, because I thought maybe that first issue would be all we get, but like
a fluke.
I like in this issue, it's like, oh no, we're still going with like the ultra violence and all of that shit. We're not stopping.
Yep. They also continue to do a really interesting thing, and that is we do not hear Frank's internal monologue.
No.
We don't know what he's thinking. We don't know what he's feeling. We think he's happy to be reunited with his wife, but he doesn't smile.
Yeah. Again, I think that it's kind of tied to what happens a little later on in the book.
Yeah, they make a solid point to show that he's not smiling, and they do bring up the children. You know, Maria, she's still not 100% yet. She still has to take hand medicine to, like, stay alive, and she asks, you know, oh, when are the children coming home? And Frank only says, you know, soon. Yeah,
again, like, in that first issue, it felt like the Hand was, like, using this, like, holding the family, like, over him, and here it's even more so, because, she has to take their medicine, and, you know, she has to stay there. She can't go and live out in the actual world or anything.
Yeah, it's like a junkie with the junk, man. You hooked. The first taste is always free. And, we see Punisher going about his business as the new leader of the Hand, right down to learning sword fighting, which I like that. You know, he's such a master of guns and munitions, he never had to learn to be a sword guy, but he wants to learn to be a sword guy, A, because if you're going to do it right, and B, because it allows him to actually hear more of the Hand's history and the history of the people who work for him.
Yeah, and it just looks fucking cool.
And it looks really cool, too. He fucking chops the sword with his hand and breaks it because he's hard as shit.
Yeah.
And he's also, like, quite distressed when he learns that most of these Hand guys started as children who were sold into slavery, so he doesn't like the idea of the Hand using child labor.
Yeah, and he has that moment where he's like, oh, yeah, I, like murdered, like, half of these people.
Yeah, oops, my bad.
Yeah.
No, my B guys, don't hold it against me. The Archpriestess continues to become quite an interesting character too, where she's like, yeah, you know, I'm part of this other sect of the Hand. We're the oldest. You know, we were believed to be archaic in our thinking and everything. You know, trying to find the Hand of the Beast, a new murder messiah. And our big difference was, you know, the Hand's leaders have always been like ninjas and samurais and kung fu masters, Japanese people.
Yep.
mostly. But the Hand Archpriestess is like, look, I figured if you want to find the best at killing, you gotta go American.
Best killers in the world.
Yeah, you guys can't even go to the mall without opening fire on each other. So, I mean, I just thought it was obvious. And I killed everyone else who dared speak out against me. And I'm like, wow, and here I thought Jason Aaron wasn't going to be doing any cutting social commentary. And yet here we are. If you're going to form a death cult, you got to have an American leader for your death cult.
Of course.
And it's death cult versus death cult because it's the Hand versus the apostles of Ares, who I joked last issue where it's like, wait, these guys know Ares is a guy. Yes, they do. In fact, Ares is their leader, like legit.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
In a suit. And also, man, how has it taken them this long to have the Punisher fight Ares? Because they're both anti-heroes, sometimes bad guys. They both have skull motifs, and now they're both leaders of crazy cults who love war.
Yeah.
It seems really, obvious, doesn't it?
Yeah, it took Jason Aaron to do it. Jason Aaron's all into that. He's kind of bringing some of that Thor into it, where he's hey, Punisher's going to go and fight, a god.
Gods. Yeah, this is the only time he can fight gods. And you're like, well, how is he going to possibly do that? Isn't he still just a dude? Mm-hmm. He is, but the more he works for the Hand and the more he kind of does their work, he's getting superpowers now.
Yeah, which kind of feeds into what I was saying before, where it's maybe, Frank doesn't realize it, and it's why we haven't seen his monologue or anything, but I think maybe he is possessed by something for the Hand.
It happened to Daredevil in Shadowland, basically just like this, so, maybe.
And he doesn't realize it, which is why he's able to access these, powers.
Quite possibly.
Maybe he's possessed by, that big fucking goblin...
The Beast.
Thing, yeah, the Beast.
The Beast that we've seen a lot. The one thing I wasn't crazy about in this issue, it doesn't ruin it, but it definitely feels superfluous to me right now. They retcon young Frank's origin to say that he was always a violent kid drawing skulls and everything, and that the Archpriestess was trying to groom him for leadership even back then. She gives him the Dalai Lama test where it's oh, do you recognize any of these items? Did these belong to you in a past life?
Yeah. Again, as well, that could also just be whatever is happening to Frank, fucking with his mind.
New memories again.
It's editing his actual memories to say it's oh, you're always this. Oh,
that's a good point, because it's funny, because I compared it last time to be wow, this is a lot like Secret Empire and the American Hydra cell that helped groom Steve Rogers in the Kobik world. Yeah, wow, if that turns out to be the truth, holy shit, I owe you a Coke, Matt.
Yeah, well, it seems like it might be.
Well, it's funny because it hit me where I'm oh, is this Jason Aaron just not knowing his history and flying in the face of stuff we know about Frank Castle's childhood? But then the more I thought about it, I'm well, only Garth Ennis wrote about it, and Max and Knights technically isn't in continuity, so the whole he was Francis Castiglione, he was a good kid, and he never killed anybody until maybe isn't actual canon.
Yeah.
It's Ennis canon, but not main universe canon. So that could be it too.
Yeah, I did still like though that they kept that he was a Captain America fan.
I do like that he's wearing a fucking Captain America shirt, telling old ladies to fuck off, and telling the therapist to bite him, and he's got he's a kid who's got a bunch of weapons stashed. Oh no, little Frankie Castle, the possible school shooter, got to do something about this.
No, he's not the school shooter. He's the kid who conceals carries that shoots the school shooter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they make a point where it's oh, that kid may never be able to have children of his own, Frank. Yeah, he was a bully, though. So even back then, Frank beating the shit out of people he thought was bad, being judge, jury, and executioner. But yeah, this book continues to be a lot of fun. Again, it's a crazy action movie. It's a late period Steven Seagal movie.
It's so good.
It is, again, for all the bluster and invented controversy behind this, where it's oh, is Marvel gonna kowtow to white supremacists? Are they changing it too quickly? In the end, it doesn't matter, because Jason Aaron was just using it as an excuse to tell a crazy fun story.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time it's happened like this, where it's oh, what does this comic mean? What's going on? It doesn't mean anything. It means fucking ninjas and sword fights and shit.
Yeah. Just cool shit.
it literally means nothing.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was probably the best thing for it to mean nothing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I will say, though, it's funny, again, using just, the viewership on my channel as a yardstick, that first issue had way more views than your average Punisher story had. This one had way less. So I wonder if people have already kind of stopped caring, because despite the Punisher being such a popular merch seller and be such a polarizing character and everything, he's never really sold huge.
No. It could also just be like that first issue, the thing you see with all first issues. No, as well as like when you do videos on like issue 1s, they're usually the most popular.
And this was also a stacked week, so maybe people forgot it was even out.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Santi helped us again. Thank you, Eric. You're a real VIP for this episode. After the last Wolverine issue, I hope we get to see Deadpool and Solomon meet. A lot of fun, chaotic bi-pan energy. They would argue over who's hotter, Cable or Logan. Oh, that's a funny meme. They're both samurai sword guys. My sword's bigger. No, my sword's bigger. I'm cool. No, I'm cool. Nothing can kill me. Well, nothing can kill me. Fucking hate you. Man, you got a great pitch there, Eric. I sure hope Benjamin Percy does that now. Just them annoying the shit out of each other. I like it. Yeah, Chemdog marked for death. Yes, exactly. This is Punisher marked for death, the movie. Is literally what it is. Like, you could see, like, big fat Stallone in this movie. Hey, bro, I'm just the coolest there is.
Does Punisher run like a girl?
I mean, we haven't seen him run yet, but maybe he will.
He's run with his hands all flapping and...
Okay, look, man, I'm gonna flip you. You're gonna have to do, like, all the work, bro. I'm just an expert in everything, man. Expert musicians, expert ninjutsu, expert sous chef. I just do it all, bro. I just do everything. Look at my big ponytail. If Frank grows a big, gross ponytail, then we'll know. That's the only way we'll know, bro. How many more books did you have? Because that's actually it for me.
I had one more.
Okay, let's hear your one last one.
Beyond the White Knight, issue 2.
Yeah, see, I wanted to read this really bad. I flipped through it, and I'm like, oh, this looks great, but I gotta wait to come back to it.
Yeah, it was pretty great. So we didn't get a lot of Terry this issue.
No.
We got a little bit where we find out he's like still working for Derek Powers and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But the issue is mainly about Bruce and the new hallucination thing he has with Jack Napier. We find out that it's not actually a hallucination. It's basically his Jarvis AI.
Oh, shit.
But Bruce didn't know he had it because, as we find out, it was back when Jack and the GCPD took down Batman in that... Like, when they knocked him out in the first run, Jack implanted a chip into his head.
Oh, so kind of like what Joker did to Tim Drake in Joker Returns. Yeah.
And it allows him to see... Jack, he's basically an AI. He's connected to like Neo Gotham. He knows like where all the cameras are and blueprints and stuff like that.
So he's literally a ghost in the machine.
Yeah. And Bruce, fucking hates it. Get out of my head. Can't really do anything about it. And then he there's a great moment where like he starts like hyperventilating and like he's like, I'm having a fucking heart attack. and because Jack can like check his vitals, like, you're not having a heart attack, you're having a panic attack. And Batman's like, Batman's like, what the fuck is going on? Because he's never had one of them because he's fucking Batman.
Of course.
And it's like, yeah, well, you've never obviously had one of these because you're Batman. And
that's
Jack's
funny.
like, of course, like, I'm surprised you haven't had one considering all the anxiety and trauma you've had, And throughout the issue, there's a great part throughout the issue where Bruce keeps calling him Joker, but it's Jack. He's not. But then Jack keeps calling him Bats, and he's not. And Bruce isn't Batman anymore. And
Interesting.
The art is the art perfectly like symbolizes this because like. We obviously have Bruce and Jack, but their shadows are Batman and Joker.
Oh, yes, that happened at the end of the last issue, too, and I like that a lot. They cast that silhouette.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that's their former selves and everything. But I also kind of like the idea that, like, Batman just can't comprehend that Joker could become Jack Napier again or be, like, reformed, so he has to keep calling him Joker.
Because it's like, look, if you could be reformed, then that means that maybe I could have been reformed too all those years, but never actually did it.
Yeah. So Bruce, because obviously he escaped prison, he's being hunted by Dick Grayson, who we find out a little bit more about Dick, and him and Barb's relationship is completely
they had
broken.
A falling out.
Because Dick basically is now like the lapdog of Derek Powers and does like everything he wants, and you know, all that. And Barbara has this fucking fantastic line where she's like, in the old days, the rich elite used to use the villains to instill fear in people. Now they just use the GTO. And it's completely true. And Duke ends up quitting the GTO because Dick wants him to go after Bruce and go after Jason Todd, because he assumes Jason Todd is the one who allowed Bruce to escape prison.
Because he did.
Duke doesn't give a shit. He's like, I'm not getting involved in your petty family squabbles, you know. I'm here to do a fucking job, not your personal errands. Do it yourself. Yeah. And so he's left in like a difficult place where he's got to go and try and arrest Bruce, and him and Bruce end up having a fight, and Jack is actually the one who gives Bruce the tactical advantage, because he can bring up he can bring up like blueprints of Dick's costume and show where like the weak points are.
Oh wow.
So he's able to take it down, and then Bruce realizes that they're not going to give up, so he needs protection, so he needs a bat suit. So he ends up going and breaking into like a micro cave that he had, where it's a bat suit, and we find out that the micro cave was in Harleen's basement.
Oh shit! Yes, okay. I've seen this costume in the art. Yes.
So he ends up meeting up with her, and she's like, "Oh, you know, you don't talk to us for years, and then you just appear in my basement, and I'm just expected to be like, oh yeah, whatever." And he's not interested in talking to her, and then she wants to talk to him because they're obviously husband and wife. They have kids. And Jack doesn't know that, because Jack is like he's an older version of Jack before he knew anything. So he's like, okay, because he's like falls immediately in love with her again. Jack,
so you gotta tell me the story of how we got here.
It's Harleen. She's my my muse and everything. And she finds out that Bruce and Harleen are married.
Yes, which I'm sure that's got to be a flashback. Yeah. You know, when did you guys get jailhouse married, and when did you get everything else? Yes,
it was a really cool issue. I really liked them exploring all of the relationships, and how like this. It's a great like comparative to like Neo Gotham, and how Neo Gotham has changed. Where like Barbara even says again, like, crime is gone, but it's been usurped by other things, like suicide rates are up, homelessness is up, all that sort of stuff, like drug abuse is up and everything. You've usurped one type of crime for another type of crime, basically, but it's a type of crime that no one really cares about,
that Sean Gordon Murphy stuff is great, and the art and the storytelling and the characterization. Boy, does it feel like a fully fleshed out world. And now that we have this story in the far-flung future, we basically have a timeline of events, don't we?
Yeah, just going from that first issue of that White Knight all the way up to here. Yeah, it's great.
And we're getting this is like one of the few series where it's like, oh, we're doing a Harley spinoff. Awesome, it was great. And we're doing a Red Hood one shot. I'm like, okay, I want to read that.
Yeah, it'll actually be compelling.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
All right, I guess with that, then we can start winding the show down. I knew this was going to be a long one, and it did. We went all the way to midnight.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, for coming and hanging out and joining us. As always, it's super appreciated. If you're a patron, you'll get to listen to the episode back before anyone else over on Patreon. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month. I saw we got some new patrons for the month, some new and returning faces, which I'm always very appreciative of. In fact, because it's the beginning of a new month, we'll be getting that Patreon money soon, so I can break Matt off a little something for all the good hard work he does on the show. And I can put the rest in my mouth to fix my goddamn rotting teeth just a little bit more. So thank you, everyone, for that. As always, we'll be back again next week, same time, same place.
Yeah, catch you later, everyone.
Bye-bye.